Andrew, you ready?
Yeah, right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Ed, have you had a chance to read the
I'm
minutes?
reading them now.
Just asking a question. We're on. It looks like he signed it.
And did you read them yet or no? So I can make a motion.
Yeah, I'm done with the motion.
So I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 21st.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstained? So, there's just one thing before I go through the agenda that I wanted to make a note of with the board, that due to the fact that we are a nonpartisan board, that any political buttons, hats, shirts, things like that, I think should not be allowed
Where?
at these meetings, because we are a nonpartisan board. We should not be representing any specific political party. So I would ask that we all refrain from wearing any political materials while we're at these meetings.
There is no law that prohibits wearing political memorabilia at a selectmen's meeting. So you can produce it. I will continue to wear it. You haven't signed yet.
I am not aware that we're supposed to be wearing that at meetings.
It said there was a law that said you had to wear it. There's none that says you can't.
Well, I'm going to ask our town council then if that is a fact. Does anybody object to that?
You can ask him, but I don't think he was gonna find anything.
The only place you can't wear political memorabilia is at an election, during an election. And being an elected official, you can't wear it outside where the line's coming in. You can't wear it inside the building. Okay? We went through this.
No, I never had this conversation with you.
No, you haven't, but I've been through it.
I've asked you not to wear it.
It's because you are gutless.
Because I'm what?
Gutless.
I'm gutless?
Gutless.
It has nothing to do with that. We're a nonpartisan board.
It doesn't matter. It's just like if you tried to tell me I can't wear my sidearm. You can't do it. It's against the law.
Okay. I'm not going to argue. I just wanted to make a statement, and I will find out. And I thought I did go to one of those classes, and they said that it wasn't acceptable, but I will find out for sure.
They probably stated it wasn't recommended, but it wasn't against
Right.
statute.
Okay. Well, I'll find out about it.
And it doesn't bother me either way.
Okay. Well, it bothers me, because I think it's just, we're supposed to be nonpartisan, so it bothers me. So it doesn't matter if everyone agrees or not. I just thought I would make a statement.
Well, I mean, I think we're not partisan when we come to this table, but
Exactly.
when
We can do whatever we want when we walk out of here.
but that means whatever you want to wear as well, because when you're focusing on what's in front of you, you're not coming in at it at a political angle. I think it's what everybody at this table knows.
Okay. I respect that.
I almost want my cowboy hat.
A lot of this ground has been covered previously. Okay? I don't say what I say just to be a smart ass. We've gone through it.
Well, you have one that had an election day.
Yes, I have, and I got chastised for it,
Yes, you did.
but that's not here.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on. Does anyone have any questions about payroll and manifest? Appointment and letter of hire. Land use change tax forms. The 2025 assistant grant, I need a motion for me to sign that.
I'll make a motion that the chair signs the 2025 assistance grant.
Do you have it?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Here you go, Karen. Oh, sorry. The letter to the residents. I think, is that the one regarding the septic? Oh, no, that's the, okay. That's going to the zoning. Any questions about that?
It doesn't even have to go to zoning until they pass.
Right.
New business, ambulance tool purchase. Anyone have any questions about that?
No, I
What is
don't
the
have it,
ambulance tool?
I don't have it in there because the fire chief was gonna send me an email that explained what the tool was, so we have all the information, I didn't get it today. He doesn't need to purchase it today, so it'll be on the next agenda.
Next agenda. Did everyone have a chance to read the tractor purchase? I just had one question about the W-9. Why is a W-9 needed? And a W-9 is for subcontractors, is that right?
No, I mean,
What's a
anybody,
what-
even,
Did I say it right?
yes, you did. Even milfoil, the people that pull milfoil, anybody the town pays for anything has, you have, if it's over $600, it's the IRS requires, we send them W-9 at the end of the year saying, we send it to the IRS, we send it to the individual, saying we paid this much money, and then it's up to that individual to report it on their own taxes.
Usually firm,
So
not
it's
corporation.
over $5.99, that's the magic number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any issues with the tractor purchase and how they've laid that out? Is
No, but I
everybody-
do wanna make sure that, I think it said Brian Mazrao was gonna
And
take a
another
look
guy.
at it. And I don't know who the other gentleman was.
Tony something.
Yeah. Tony Mattress in Pittsfield.
So,
I would highly recommend that happen before the
Yeah.
purchase.
Yes, I think his request was not to get three
Not to
bids,
get
which the
three bids.
purchasing policy requires.
and I think what it says in there is that those two people are gonna look at it before they purchase it to make sure that, it's acceptable. Are we good with that?
So I'll make a motion that we authorize Parks and Rec that we will waive the purchasing policy and allow them to go, purchase a tractor provided it's looked at by the zoning.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. The clean diesel truck grant, where was that?
It's just that we got notification that we had submitted the grant. It's the same grant that we used last year.
Yeah,
And the
is
state.
that to get a new truck?
Yep, to get a new truck, you have to have an old diesel truck that you get rid of to buy a new truck. And we have a couple still up in highway department that fit the qualifications. So if this goes through, the last one that we purchased, we got a brand new truck and they paid 25% of it. So they paid around $37,000 last year for it. there's money in the highway department heavy equipment fund, if this should go forward. And then, your agents to expend, it doesn't have to be a warrant article.
Are you looking for, George, are you looking to do this? So, any questions about?
22 is a diesel. And we've got 3 full state trucks in there also.
Well, we've got a good supply of,
We've got a good supply of trucks with them.
okay, excellent.
So, what truck
I'm not gonna do, you know,
are you looking to get rid of?
Probably truck 17 is an old state truck. At this time.
And, who's gonna fill out the grant, Karen, you?
No, actually, I had Lisa send the material in because it's all the same language as last year. Same exact type
Same,
of truck,
it's the same specs. and
all the specs.
can we get 50% for 2 vehicles?
Oh, you could throw that at them, but I don't know if that would work.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward with that? Need a motion?
I think absolutely we should have that.
Motion?
I move that, Karen, please move forward with the clean diesel truck grant.
2 seconds, sorry. I'm writing, I'm sorry. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
You abstain?
No.
Just for the record, I've already spec'd out the truck.
You have?
There's a deadline on that. There's a deadline on that, like
In
September
August,
sometime.
well, to submit it was August,
Okay.
so we had already submitted it to see if we made the first round. And we even accepted it, so.
Do we have any choices to where these new vehicles will come from, what dealership?
The one that, well, I'm gonna go under a state bid pricing. So it'll be an international, so it'll probably come from Liberty International. And that's who I've already spec'd the truck out with. And I spec'd out, the plow, wings, sander, and the dump body through 3 other companies.
Now, you say that the, spreader of the wing and so forth, we don't have anything that can be changed over, it's all worn out. Okay,
I'm gonna go to the truck and I'll cut it out brand new. It'll last us 15 years.
yeah.
15 years is pretty much what we'll keep the truck in. So, and I've already got 3 bids for the outfit. So,
Good.
Very good, George. So you're working with Karen. All right, the next thing on the list is the reopening town hall. Do we wanna wait a little while to do that and just go right into George since we're late on our appointments?
Now, who is going to oversee this reopening, the town clerk?
So I was kind of wondering that myself.
I don't care. But they mentioned in here sanitizing this, sanitizing that, who's gonna be doing all that?
So what will happen, whoever is available throughout the day, we just go out, wipe surface. We're trying to eliminate as many surfaces as we can. The exit would be through the door you come in now. They'll come in through the town hall, there'll be 6-foot distance markers, 2 people only in the lobby, and they'll exit through that door. They talked about opening up that first part of the door and keeping it open so that people won't be touching that door. There'll be a little table with hand sanitizer and a garbage for people to wash their hands, do whatever, and throw it away when they go out. So there will be that one door to wipe. There will be, when they come in the town hall, we're gonna have it chained off, we're gonna use the election stuff, the chains and the ropes, so that they can only come in and come through the hall, they're not gonna go use the restrooms.
And that's one of my concerns.
Right.
Um,
No
I'm
restrooms.
not sure that's the wisest decision you have to make. I go to Market Basket in Concord, if I couldn't get to the bathroom, you know what I'd be doing in the aisles.
Well, hopefully they won't be apt to sit there too long.
Right.
I'm not expecting, you know, who knows, but
I think if
Once you
somebody
open
has
up
to
the
go to the
bathroom,
bathroom, I would think that that's.
it'll open up a lot of extra work.
Right?
Well,
I mean, I would hope we would let them
You
use the
can say
bathroom
it's
if they
closed,
needed
and
to
that'll
go.
deter most people, but I think if someone really had to go, they'd say something,
Yeah.
and then you,
no, if you have a 73-year-old man, with incontinence, then you have a problem.
if you tell, you know, if he says something, you say it's
Right.
okay to go.
And we can make arrangements
Yeah.
for that.
I think we have to have a little leeway there,
Yeah.
exactly for that reason, or somebody gets ill, or,
Yeah, you're not gonna advertise, just ask them, but it's gonna be,
Yeah.
no, it's closed.
if someone
Maybe
has an
something-
issue, I think they're gonna say, hey, is there any way I could use the bathroom? And I
Absolutely.
don't think you should stop.
Well, I mean, you could put a, have it key locked, so that way they at least have to ask for the key, that means someone knows that the bathroom is used, someone can go in after and wipe out if need be. But, you know, they've said Lysol spray, 99% kills, so all someone has to do is just go in and spray the surfaces with the Lysol spray, so that's effective as well.
Right, so if that comes up,
Do we have keys to that?
it's funny, they're not real keys, it's a pin.
That's what I thought.
Yes, so, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the least of ours, because we
Right.
would allow people to go to the bathroom.
And as far as the, anyone not very comfortable coming in, will be allowed to make an afterwards parking lot appointment?
Mhm.
Are they all set with that? They wanna do that, or they're going to do that?
That's what they said, that's what they're suggesting. I offered, maybe your hours, instead of being 8:30 to 4:30, maybe it should be 8:30 to 2:30, and then make your afternoon appointments after that, so you can concentrate on that. But they seem to think even if there was a line, one person could wait on the line and the other person could handle the appointments. So, we can see how it goes. They're
When's
going
the new
to-
girl starting?
She will be starting, August 3rd.
August 3rd?
So next Monday.
And when did we decide we were gonna do this?
If,
Or what are we thinking?
if, we were hoping August 3rd, but it's entirely up to you. If you wanted to wait till August, the next week, that's fine too. You know, and we've checked with other towns. Some are in opening phases, some aren't. DMV isn't open.
What,
It's just
because I
crazy.
noticed on here the gloves, the credit card machine, what type of card machine?
Well, we have debit credit right now.
No, I know, but the machine, is it a little thing that you like?
Yes, you have to
chip?
swipe.
There's no chip?
No, is it chip? Yes, we have the new machine, yes, they're all chip.
Okay,
No
so
swipe.
if
So
it's
they're the
chipped,
only ones-
I mean, I don't think we should be handing gloves out. I think the person's gonna just put it in themselves, you know, pull the card right out, they don't even have to touch
Their
the
own
machine.
side.
Right,
The
they don't
buttons.
have,
And it's hard to use gloves with buttons.
They have,
buttons.
but
Yeah,
I tried
think
them
they
at
have
Farmers
to put
Market,
them
what
in.
pain in the
They
neck.
have to.
but they have disposable, we'll call them disposable things that you can put over.
That go right over the
That might be
pad.
better than doing gloves,
Okay.
because that's gonna just cause a mess. People are just gonna take the gloves or throw them.
And you can wipe down the credit
In the
card
back.
machines, that's
Yeah,
what
actually,
they do at
with
the
just a
Farmers
quick wipe.
Market.
You do.
Because the gloves were causing havoc on the machine. It was working, it was causing us problems. So what we opted was to just use wipes and wipe them down after each use.
Okay.
We can have it like that, probably, so that
Right
it's
for
good.
the cover. Okay.
Well, we can always take Apple Pen and just put this on right over.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, we tried to address the issue, if people do not feel comfortable coming in, they can still call and make an appointment. But encourage, drop off everything you can.
I think it makes sense to like, what you said, have appointments during certain times, because then you're gonna have craziness going on.
So, yeah, what if they can't make that time?
Well, you make an exception.
Especially if it's only 2 hours.
We always do like Tuesdays, they end up going back to the hours on Tuesdays, 11 to 7.
A lot of times people like to have all night.
I think that we can suggest all we want, but it's up to the town clerk, tax collector to make the final decision.
Well, for your town hall, it's up to the board of selectmen.
Right.
This is your,
This here is good. I mean, this will work.
Covers all the bases, so.
And it works for the town employees, we encourage
So
the
there,
citizens to follow the guidelines about it.
will that work with the wiping down and the keeping the supplies up and everything? Everyone's gonna chip in on that? Is that how that's gonna work?
Yes, yeah.
And they all are aware and on board and,
So does this
We're just
mean the
gonna do
whole
our
entire town
part.
hall, not just the town clerk, right?
Right, because if someone comes in the lobby, you can't say you can only go to that window and we're
Right.
gonna ignore you, so. Because there's a lot of work that happens here too, between all the mechanical,
Yeah.
all the building permits, the mechanical permits, and subdivision, DBA, assessing, all that happens in here, so. The only thing, it might back up the line a little bit, because there's only gonna be 2 people in the lobby, so if one person is here for a mechanical permit and one is doing registration, that next person, regardless of what they were in line for, so we're just not gonna be able to service simultaneously.
so it will be a learning experience,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you see how,
So you're looking at the 3rd?
the third would be the first Monday in August, but again,
That's what,
this next Monday.
Monday.
We have to get it on the website, get all the signage up.
And how will that affect our meetings? Are we doing that yet, or?
Well, that's the next question. If you wanna open your meetings to, it can be the 6-foot distancing, or if everybody wears masks, it doesn't have to be the 6 foot. So that, again, is gonna be a decision you
Or
guys.
do we continue like this for now until we get?
I have had, and you can check with the other people, but we have had questions, when are you opening town hall?
The other thing is we have restrictions on people being able to contribute to public input, is they have to have a YouTube account in order to contribute to public input, and a lot of people don't have that.
Unless we Zoom, because he Zooms for planning and ZBA, so he could Zoom for this, but.
Well, I think if we're not gonna allow people to come in, then we should be doing something to allow them to come in.
Yeah.
What's our next meeting, it's not.
Not next week.
Couple weeks.
Right, your next meeting would be the 11th, so,
I
again,
don't see why we can't open it up to the public. Everybody either does the social distancing,
Yeah.
but it needs to be set. Is it gonna be social distancing or is it going to be mask required?
We're probably gonna have to set it up out there so that we can limit how many people show up.
So you wanna do the
It's gonna have to be a first come, first served type thing,
right,
and, there's only so many seats available,
Right.
figure out how many.
Didn't think we did that out already, how many
Yeah.
people could be in there?
they did, yeah, we had set up for the 6 foot, and,
No, more than that.
well,
Well,
I more than that, I think
we got 2 weeks on our part, but as far as out here opening up in a week,
it would be a week.
is this gonna go on the town website and
It will-
any other places?
It will be on the website, it'll be on each town clerk tax
Yeah.
collector page as well. It might be redundancy, but that's better than, not having enough information. There'll be a sign outside that says, the standard language if you have a temperature. We're not gonna take temperatures. We're not set up to do temperatures, we're not doing it, so we're requiring masks. If you come in, you're gonna have to wear a mask. Otherwise, they can appoint
No, it's all other town offices will be open as well.
It just depends on, they're all in different phases. It's just what they feel comfortable doing, so not every one of them are open.
I mean, as long as you girls in here feel comfortable, then I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's really about you guys, because you're the one that has to deal with everybody.
The good thing is that we had the glass put in ages ago, so
Yeah.
at least we have that.
And they'll have masks, so you're in pretty good shape.
And our doors are always locked.
Yeah.
So no one will be coming any other than the lobby. We'll just wait there.
Yeah, as long as we get the word out there, I guess it's good, huh?
And so we're gonna open up public input August 11th.
Yeah, we'll
Open up
the
people to
meeting,
come
yeah.
in,
Open
but
up
it's
people to-
masked, quiet, and social distancing.
Yeah. So I think you'll get a concrete number of how many.
How many we
and
can
then that
fit.
way.
Yep. Yes. Yes,
And
right.
you'll post that on Facebook? I mean,
Yes, we're gonna post on the website.
website?
Yeah, and we'll post everything. If you could have him sit in the lobby, if you're comfortable with that, thank you. Your 5:30 is here, I'm sorry.
okay. Okay. Any other questions about reopening? Are we good now at this point? Do we have a plan? Everybody? All right, and we will move forward to the road agent for the paving. So where are we at with that?
All right, I did a spreadsheet. So the first spreadsheet is paving and the base. These are the three companies. You can see the difference. And the second page is just the reclaim because you asked for a separate
Thank you.
one for reclaim. And
Thank you.
this is yours, George.
George, as far as reclaiming, is there anybody that their work or anything we need to know that we shouldn't be, that we should be alerted to, or are they all good to go by you
They're all good to go, man.
as far as reclaiming? Pretty damn close, huh? Well, what you do was, on the proposals, I think when George did his walkthrough with a couple of contractors, they measured X amount of square footage as well as X amount of tons. And Walcott didn't come back with a new proposal, so she added, she went off basically his tonnage, his square footage, to compare them all. However, that doesn't really give us an accurate number because kids are not using that much.
Right, so if you don't use that much, just the figures are gonna be less for everyone, all three companies.
If my calculations are right, oh, I see. All right, they're not. They're all right. Are they using pad and center line or not, George? Do you want them to or not?
The only one that said he would do center line would be Busby.
So the other two would have to pay extra for that, correct?
I can do it myself.
You do it yourself?
Over the central line.
So we don't need any of those extras. That's like what you and I had discussed, what you would do
I
and
can do the,
save money.
I can set the roof off myself.
Right, that's what I figured. Okay, so I got R&D, total cost, $36,063.12.
For the
Reclaiming
reclaiming, yes.
of everything.
Yes.
That's pretty cheap, and we were looking at 54 from Busby originally.
Busby, yeah, Busby, I did the new figures without the center line, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So now it's only, a couple thousand different.
So,
So they must have just rounded off these tons, correct?
yeah.
Because I don't have that, I have,
Right.
you know, a little
Mine is
less
different,
than that.
too. It's a little confusing. Yeah, you gotta, but read these, I wrote this down too.
Yeah, because this one right here was the one that Andy said that these numbers, he did point for point with Walcott. And these numbers don't match up. Like for instance, Shackford is 28 tonnage required, 2865, and it's 29, so that ain't all too much. But Peachum is 341, and this says 336.80. That's where I'm a little confused.
George, if we were to look into reclaiming, do you have any clue how soon any of them could come in? Okay. I'd like to handle these separately, personally, because no matter what we do, I think we were pretty well decided, and we can decide here, that we're gonna reclaim no matter what, and get it
Right.
going. Never mind, the people in town, our vehicles, fire, ambulance, police vehicles, they're taking the beating on these roads. Everyone knows it that's traveled them. I think no matter what, we should decide on reclaim right here and now. Give him the word, because he's still gotta find out their availability. And then like he has told us, he's got a good 2 weeks work there, working these roads and reclaim to get them right. Then at least we've got that done, the bumps are gone, we've got a good, hard, smooth surface.
Once I get a reclaim,
Yeah,
I get them graded over, just get them graded.
right, not blue
Then,
top.
then it's gonna take me a solid week, second blue tops, for 4 miles of road.
Right, right.
No, too worried about it. I gotta buy the center line stakes and the pedals. Then I gotta go out and I gotta set up the label and go each one, each station, for 4 miles. So it's gonna take us some time.
They've near done that, I know it's pretty time consuming.
So you still wouldn't be ready for paving anyways until,
Something that, by the time I got my center lines down.
Once we know when they can even
And then
reclaim.
once I get them in, then I, do my blue top and I grade the grade, get my crown. And then, once that's done, I'm on the phone with the paper ready to go. So we're talking 2 weeks anyway. 2.5 weeks.
Right.
So George, what's your recommendation on the reclaiming on the bids?
On reclaiming, well, I can do, like I said, I can set the blue tops. I would go with R&D.
Okay.
And if they can't get here soon, then we can always go with what we see. I would rather go with R&D.
you talked to R&D today, correct, Karen?
Yeah, I didn't ask him how soon he'd be able to.
No, but he seemed anxious to find out what we were coming up
When,
with,
right, yep.
Yeah,
from
know
what I
he-
understood.
I know he tried calling me, but I was in the dead area all day. Up on Gilmerton Road, so.
Okay.
R&D is 360612. 63.12. Pretty low. We were looking at 54,000 originally from Busby for this. So you're looking at what, to 18,
20,
almost 18 something thousand dollars here. We're saving right on that.
And just for clarification, that's without the pad foot roller.
Yeah.
That's, with Busby?
No, with
No,
R
R&D.
and D.
R&D,
You're not
yes.
gonna have the pad foot roller?
No, I
Okay,
won't. No, I don't need it.
okay, perfect.
But was Busby gonna include that in,
Busby was gonna include the Patrick roller and center
for the
line
70
layout.
cent, for the 70?
No, for the $1.05.
For $1.05.
Without the pad, it's 70 cents, so.
And Busby, they're pretty adamant about bringing a Patrick roller and center.
But they also said they didn't have a roller, right? They just rented it.
No, that's R and D.
Oh, that was R&D.
That's the other thing you guys have to know. When I called R and D to find out, how much it would cost for the pad foot roll, they have to lease it. That's why they only gave me a quote for
Right.
1 week. It's $5,000 a week, so I called them and I said, what if we only needed a day? And they said, we can't do anything about it because we have to lease it from, Milton
Right.
or North Track.
But we're not
So-
having them do it anyway.
Oh,
But
no,
they're
I
not
haven't
doing it
had it.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we give George the authority and to, or Karen, whoever it may be here, to go with R&D on the reclaiming of these roads and get that in motion, and then we can discuss the paving separate. I believe what I had was 36,063.12. You have that, Karen?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? So I just wanna make sure the motion's correct. So you're making a motion that we're gonna give George the authority to move forward with,
R&D
R&D,
on the reclaiming.
providing they can do it very quickly. If not, then he will go with Busby, correct?
Will this Busby be the next lowest, or is it just where you rather go?
That's what you're at.
Next lowest,
They're both the same, aren't they?
If we,
Yes.
I'm gonna stick with this R&D thing, but I understand you wanna have a backup. And that, I think that would probably be your discretion, because they're both the same.
So we should make the motion that it would be at George's discretion then, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Move forward. Okay,
and we'll be in touch with them first thing in the morning.
okay, so the motion is to give George the
Go
authority
ahead
to
on the
move forward
reclaiming.
with the discretion that the contractor might change depending on the time frame. And Diane, do you want to second that?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
And can I ask what roads? I just wanna make sure.
Shackford, Holmes, and Peachum.
Stratford,
No.
Holmes, and Beach.
Yeah.
Okay, Holmes isn't on here.
Right, because
It's
they
right
all
here.
did it by, they all counted it as Shackford.
Right.
Oh,
When we went back over them, we saw that that Holmes was not included.
Right, I asked them about that,
Okay,
and they said that they
they,
ran it right through with Shack,
okay,
because
But
they
it
thought it
didn't
was
feel-
Shack, but they didn't know it.
perfect. So Shackford,
is
Peachum, and
included.
Holmes. Okay.
so Holmes is included.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep asking because I don't want any questions
Yeah.
later. So I thought you were only gonna do a portion of
That's
Peachum.
my next question.
Oh, my Lord.
These
No.
bids are for all of Peachum, I think.
Right, right,
It's
so
for
that's.
all of people, I mean, if you wanna go with the whole length of it, we can do it.
There's the paving quote for all of Peachum too.
Um, But if we could save money by doing just that hill up there, the rest of that you could do a shim and overlay. Just the hill going up past, the other side of River Pond going towards Windward. That really needs to be recovered. The rest of it, we could probably get away with the shim and overlay.
That gonna come back to bite us?
No, that.
If we're gonna do them, we should just do them right.
If you wanna go with full length for this price, we can.
But, and then just remember, the top coat next year,
Right.
you're gonna be way over budget just starting out and not have any money for shim
Hold
overlay or
on.
anything.
I don't agree, because we're gonna save on homes already, right?
We're not gonna pay it home.
We're not gonna pave it, we're just gonna leave it reclaimed.
Right, no days.
And I don't know about the other prices. You might know, Karen, I know that Walcott had said like $68,000 if we don't pave it.
If we don't pave it. Exactly.
If we don't pave it, 62.9, yes, so
Yeah,
63,000.
so that's a pretty good boost right there. I think all along we've been running our figures by, looking at the 54,000 that Busby had given us for reclaiming, and it's only gonna be 36 now.
We're gonna save,
Should have something there. So I don't, I know we're saving money, but we're gonna have to get into discussion, whatever
if
you
you wanna
think we
reclaim
wanna
the
do
full
with
length,
each.
we can, but, it's just looking at saving down.
Right. Does some of it, I've gone over it 100 times, I know some of it is really bad,
Yes.
but
Right now, it's,
is the rest of it, should we do it now and get it over with, should we wait?
we can, we're gonna have everything here.
You're not answering the question, George.
Do you wanna do it?
No,
Yeah.
what we wanna do is what we have to do to make sure that it's done right.
Like
If we
Rick
wanna do
has
it
said,
right,
and
we'll
I
reclaim
think-
the whole thing, it'll last.
Where were you saying we shouldn't reclaim? Because I know from like Moose Rock, like it's really bad going up that hill.
Right. That part's really bad.
Yes.
That definitely needs reclaiming. The rest of it, if we reclaim it, you're gonna get 15 years out of it, at least.
What are you saying not to reclaim it?
We say we can get away with a shim
the
and
hill.
overlay.
You could shim and overlay it,
Where?
I'm not
From
gonna-
Winwood?
you know,
Up?
from the beginning of Beecham all the
Okay.
way to that hill.
You're still gonna pay for a mix, shim and overlay. And if we do it right,
We can do it right and reclaim it.
and
it'll last
we've
us
discussed
15 years.
before, I know Rick has spoke about it, and I think Ed has agreed, and that these are main roads in this town, both of them,
I
maybe
don't,
we should.
I'm not objective to it.
No, I know you're not, you're looking to save, I know exactly. I'm hoping to go with the savings we're gonna have on the reclaim and not paving homes, I think is a big bundle of savings, and I'm hoping will help us, like the town is saying, for next year, and then the top, and
We can do it. I don't mind.
I'm trying to drag this out, because I know she's working numbers over there.
You don't mind.
I don't mind doing it
I
because,
understand that, but
no, it'll be done,
you
it'll
tell
last us
us.
15 years
Right, but
if we
you're the,
do it that way.
you're the.
And if we
road
shim it
agent.
overlay,
So please tell us what you recommend.
I would
Don't
recommend,
listen to any of
No,
us here.
I'm
You
gonna give you
are
my
the one in
recommendation.
charge, so you need to tell us what do you recommend.
my
you think
recommendation
we
is to reclaim.
The entire thing.
I mean, we prepped it for reclaim.
Okay, I only know because you just said that you don't mind doing
No,
it, so I just want to be
well,
sure
don't
that
take me
that's.
wrong.
He's looking to
That's what
save
you
money, I
want
know what
to.
he's doing.
I'm looking to save money, but in the long run, we're gonna save money because that road will last us 15 years if we reclaim.
Right. And I just want to make sure that that's what, because I would
So-
hate for you to
And I
want to
would,
save money and then only do the shim and overlay knowing that.
I would rather see it done right.
And I think
Didn't
we
they
would all
do
have
at
to
the
do
beginning
that.
of Beecham before, when they were doing the.
just I think to the
Just
top
to
of the
the
hill.
top of the hill.
That was a state.
So
By-
do we need to do that again, or
No, no, you're gonna start where the,
where
gonna
the
start just-
state ended, right?
Right, right by Mont Vernon.
Okay. I was just a
That's
little
where it's
confused
all
because you
gonna
said the
start.
beginning of Beecham, and I thought they already did that.
Okay, so
Just
we're
wanna
gonna
start right
reclaim
Okay,
all
we're
of
reclaiming
Beecham.
the whole length.
what you've spec'd out, basically, Shackford and Holmes. And that's what we're going with R&D. So that's what we're going to reclaim. Now we can get into paving.
Okay, we're done with the reclaiming.
I think, unless, do you have anything else, Karen?
No, I'm just adding the numbers to let you know how
I know
close
you are,
we're
that's why I
getting.
keep looking at you.
All right.
We're good,
Or
we're
if you
good.
want to call the vote.
George,
I
you
thought I
got
did.
all the culverts changed out on those roads.
All done.
Okay,
It's been done since
but I don't
May.
think we voted on it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You
I
have.
thought I did that, yeah.
Yes, that's all.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Now you-
All right, now for the paving, are we gonna discuss that now or wait, or what are we gonna do about paving?
We do need to do something about this. I don't know if, I hate to keep hitting here all night, but I know we have a 5:30 waiting, I know we have a
Yes.
6, should we have them come back?
I know the paving quantities are high. I know, because everybody else came in a little bit like that.
I
Then
do
what,
not-
Rick?
Then the tons and the square yards
Lower than who?
than what we have on the spreadsheet here.
Yeah, so what I did, let me
So there is
explain.
gonna be some savings here, we just don't know what they are.
But let me explain what I did, and I went over this with George. We looked at the R&D. So when some of their tonnage and the number of yards that they did was different because it was all different yards that they all came up with.
But they figured it, they physically went out and rolled this, right? They measured it themselves.
I
Correct?
remember
Right,
Who, R&D?
that.
R&D.
And GMI.
and GMI,
Right.
both of them went out there and measured the same.
Right, but R&D, if you notice on R&Ds, the reason their tonnage is less is because they're not putting down as much pavement as Wolcott.
They're not putting down what I requested.
That's why the tonnage is different. That's why I just took their figures, took the same exact tonnage for everybody. It may come out less, which is fine, so that you'd have exact numbers to see where everybody falls,
Okay,
okay?
So I'm a little confused then, you're saying,
Hold on,
the,
if you're saying,
is the paving on this spreadsheet Shackford, is that considered the homes part too? We're not paving homes.
No, none of
Okay,
that is.
how does
homes.
Walcott come in there? I thought they hadn't readjusted, or is this with them readjusting?
That's their readjusted
Okay.
price, and originally they had homes separate, so I don't, just took homes
Okay.
completely out, it's not in there at all.
Yeah.
Karen,
Yes,
how much, what thickness of paving is Walcott gonna put down?
okay, so Wolcott is showing, now on shim over, you're doing paving, so we don't care about shim overlay.
Everybody's doing 2.5 inches.
So,
Everybody.
everybody
Even
but
R&D
R&D.
is gonna have to. That's what we figured, right?
So we're
That's what
looking,
we're making.
we're not looking at the overlay, we're looking
Right,
at the
it's
2.5
overlay.
payment after the reclaim,
But it's all
correct?
the same
Yep.
price, right?
Yep, so that's.
It's just a higher square foot. I mean,
Put over here.
And it's based
More
on this
tonnage.
tonnage,
Just on that
even
tonnage.
though that tonnage isn't correct. Or
Right,
is
the
it correct?
reason
Correct.
R&D's
But if they
tonnage
put
was
down the
different
same,
is because
it should
they
be the
were not
same.
putting down as much.
Still confused about that.
because, one and a half inch overlay. That's 738 times. So it was 400 tons less, basically.
Yeah, I think I figured it out.
So these numbers are probably on the high end, correct?
Well, they're based totally on the, length,
Is that what you're looking for, 2.5
the
inch?
length of the
I want
tons.
2.5, no less.
Oh, on the tons.
Is that what you told R&D?
That's what I told them. It's still coming in less than that. So, that being
Okay,
said,
we
And I
have
see
the,
the R&D,
we have the Walcott issue going on here. What I'm looking at really quickly, for Shackford, Walcott's in at 182. Let's just take GMI out of the thing here for a minute, because they're pretty high. So Walcott's in at 182 for Shackford, and R&D is in at 177. So you're looking at about $5,000 difference there. And then you go to Peachum, and it's basically about the same. 230, 220, it's about 5,000 again.
So it's 10,000.
So that's 10,000. Difference there as far as who's low and who's not. R&D keeps not coming up with the right depth that you want,
I
so,
want 2.5 and he's not.
okay.
He doesn't even have it on his
And we
side.
have the other issues that have gone on with Walcott, so I think we need to make a decision. Do we want to take any chances of any, we all know how we feel about this whole situation and what went on, and we also how we feel about those that have made it difficult to work with since then. For $10,000 difference, and we're going to get the right depth and mix we want, do we want to pursue going with someone else, or do we want to just bite the dust on the 10,000 and get through this season and start things correctly next year? Do we not want to pave at all? That's, I think, what we got to decide here. We're basically
So-
looking at about 10,000 now. Difference.
I don't know, so what is your opinion?
My opinion is this. There's a pretty good chance that we might go forward with Walcott.
And
We
what,
what?
That we could go to court with Walcott.
I wouldn't even worry about that.
Well,
I do.
yeah, we're looking at a
$10,000
$10,000
is not worth
difference, and if we go to court, we could end up
$100,000.
paying $100,000.
I
maybe.
agree,
It's not,
and R&D didn't
Not on my
quote us
watch,
on
it's
2.5-inch pavement, correct?
Right.
Because I'm looking at this and I don't see it on
it's
here.
not on there.
So we don't even know if that's a correct price.
We
Correct?
We know the Walcott is doing a
We know that Walcott's gonna give you 2.5 inches of base.
Right.
Okay.
We
All
don't
day
like
long.
what's going on. It's not gonna happen again as long as some of us are
So-
around, I'm sure.
But, like I said,
But
my
if we
opinion
go-
is,
Okay,
we
that's,
stick with that and let them do it, because I don't think $10,000 is worth taking a chance.
I I agree with that
I like
completely.
that.
I think we, like,
But
the
we're
bullet,
down-
if it even comes out to 10 in the end.
We're down to $413,000. That's what Walcott's gonna be
Right.
getting. All right, we were at 5.7, well, 540, 70 if there was a problem. All right, so we've already saved 100 and whatever thousand, you know?
I just think that I don't feel right about it. Because I know for a fact, and, I've heard it come out of his mouth.
So I have a question,
And it-
George.
If we were, yeah,
If,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
if we go with R&D for the reclaiming, are we gonna have a problem with him if we don't go with him with the painting?
I don't know. Not until I talk to him.
Okay.
Oh,
You'll
really?
have the.
I don't know, I doubt it.
Giving him the.
Yeah, they're
something
separate bids.
else.
It's a separate bid.
Okay, I just wanted to ask
I
the
would doubt
question.
it.
No, it's a good question.
No, it's a good question. Very, very good question. I don't think we will.
But
Because
you
they
have
wanna get their
options.
foot in the door.
Okay,
I mean, if there is a problem, okay, now I got Busby, I can call back.
okay.
So if
All right.
there's a good foot in the door is reclaiming for us, and we definitely would like to see their numbers next year.
Exactly.
Because they're definitely in next year, you can guarantee them that. You know, they're gonna get a bid.
All right, so,
That's where I stand with that.
so do we need to make a motion for this?
Yeah,
No.
because-
For
I
what?
think we're discussing.
George has the authority to make that decision, not us. I suggest we go with Walcott.
So we can say, we'll make a motion to accept the road agent's recommendation
Thank you.
to go with Walcott for the payment.
Thank you. Is there a
Four
second?
hundred and thirteen approximate thousand.
Is there a second to do
I'll
that?
second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Abstain? Opposed? All right.
No,
No, the numbers you
I
have,
oppose.
You opposed?
the numbers you have is what we'd be saying, we're already saving on paving, right?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
saving like $80,000. right
Okay,
off the bat.
and then
Well,
I'm looking at,
then if we deduct
then I'm looking at
the
the,
reclaim, you know, if you add that to it,
Yeah.
it's another 36,000 there, so we're saving about 60 grand maybe,
oh, you had to reclaim in that too?
right?
Well, you have to add, I was just thinking, you've got a total of $572,000, but 413 for Wolcott, the 36 for R&D to reclaim, the 25,000 for the shoulder gravel, 14,000 for your paving that you're doing on Narrows Road, any other areas that you're gonna use paving money, and then where are you also on the reclaim, on homes, whatever you, they don't come and put a base on, are you figuring gravel in that as well?
I will use the original reclaim that we've got on there
Yeah.
right now.
And no gravel over
Not
that
this
at all?
year.
Okay,
No.
just to make sure
The
we
only other thing I
got
gotta
enough
do
money.
is, once I've got it all done and graded, I won't have to put finish on that. That's just gonna be set for the winter, but I'm gonna have to put calcium on, it, which I've saved 1,500 gallons of calcium I have to use for this reason.
And then do you have to put finish on anything before Wolcott does the
I
2.5?
can finish grade everything, but I should have enough reclaim on those roads to grade.
Yeah, I didn't know if he had to put gravel over the reclaim before they paid. And I just wanna make sure that was in.
Only if there's a spot where it's thick,
Okay, all right.
and I'll
Karen?
know that when I grade it.
So when everything here is said and done, how much is left for a paving line?
Well, it looks like, it's gonna end up being somewhere around 490,000, so it looks like you've got about 82,000 left in case something should come up and you need.
George, have you considered reclaiming any other roads?
This year?
I think we should get through what we have right now and
Yeah.
worry about other roads
There's
later.
other ones that could be used, but I mean,
So we're gonna need money for
You're
next year,
gonna-
right?
I was just gonna say that, Gary, so thank you. Yes, and you can encumber this money. Well, it'll be in the capital reserve, so you
Right.
don't spend it, but 82,000, because you're gonna spend a lot of money putting your trucks on
Yeah,
next
it's
year on these roads.
gonna be more
don't
expensive.
Yeah.
forget, next year, we still have White Oak we gotta talk.
You've got White Oak, you've
Yeah.
got a top,
So-
and, yeah, so you're gonna,
And we got roads we've got
We're gonna
scheduled to
put
do
that
next
away.
year, right?
So, all right, we got people waiting, so we good with this? Is everybody
Well,
happy?
the other, did we do on the paving?
Yes.
Yep.
You're
And
all set?
everyone except Rick voted no, right, Rick?
Opposed, yes.
That's okay.
Everybody good? George, you good?
Yeah, I had one other question. We've only received one application for the position, so.
So what happened was, is my emails keep disappearing out of my phone. I have no emails from Karen. So, she's gonna start using my regular old email, and she sent me all the emails that I did not get last week, which was one of the highway things. So, and I'm gonna hopefully get my phone fixed on Thursday, so I will take care of that when I get home.
Next time, say something, because I'm gonna post it.
I did, I did. I did say something.
Did you say you had another guy in mind? from
And how do I
different-
know if she
different
sent me
towns?
emails?
Yeah, I had a guy that gave me an application, he used to work for town.
Huh?
And
That's what I thought, but
If you wanna look, you can. Huh?
it starts Monday. Let's go. You got work to
Okay
do,
with me.
George. You got shit to do, buddy.
Hey, what's the story with Nathan?
He's all done the 7th, and he'll be back the 10th,
Oh, great.
if everything goes right.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, so I
Other
will,
than that,
I'll do it when I get home. I have it now,
Let us.
I had no
you know,
idea if she sent me emails.
Talk to Karen and then, you know, so she can let us know, and you can let us know whatever, what we find out about reclaiming
all
and
right, I
when.
will let her know tomorrow
And then
morning.
we'll go on the other thing too, just so we kinda know what's going
I
on.
will get a hold of Ed McHart and R&D first thing in the morning.
Used to be a,
Do you want to call Billy? If
I won't have to because they've watched every video every week.
Okay, good.
So I'll try.
All right,
All right, can you, do us a favor and send Brian Walker?
I will.
thanks, George.
All right, Ed.
Great
Talk to
job,
ya.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, George.
See you
Do
later,
you
George.
have the junkyard issue?
Well,
Would you give me something?
just the RSA's, it just says he has to go before.
So we asked him, we sent him a letter.
Yep,
We have all that.
yeah, and we, print it out.
So you know what we're talking about here? Yeah,
He knows he has to go before zoning board to
to enter his junkyard.
establish. Or we've asked him to give us a plan.
Okay.
Either clean up or maybe go to ZBA.
This is non-public.
No.
Is this not, no, it's not non-public.
Hey,
Hi,
Brian.
Brian.
How's it
How
going?
are you?
Hey, Brian.
How
Just
you
my
doing?
chair.
How you doing?
Have your seat.
How you doing?
Not bad, how are you?
Good, good,
How are you guys doing?
good.
Brian in.
All right, how you doing, Ed?
So we're here about,
Yeah.
what's your plan?
My plan is that, that's my equipment I work with. And I got storage there, 2 unregistered vehicles and campers. So that's what I can have on there.
So it's equipment you use for your business.
Trouble is, I got no storage out back, it's all out front, and I live on a steep hill. So everything is right out front.
Okay.
Well, what's your plan? What are you gonna do with it? It's not all work equipment. I mean, some of the
it's
stuff's been
storage.
sitting there for 3 years.
Yeah, probably.
Plus. And the piles are getting bigger and bigger, but.
So it was actually,
But isn't that, most of that metal or something? I mean, aren't you gonna
No,
haul
there ain't
that
much-
out of there?
there ain't much scrap there.
There really isn't? Looks like it when you go by it.
Yeah.
It's not? That's what I thought you were doing. I thought you were making a scrap collection, so you could haul down and haul it in or whatever.
Wow.
I've got a couple of emails
So you're expecting it
like
to
that.
just stay there forever? That's not gonna work, bud. You know that.
Well, unless someone else is paying the taxes around there, I do believe it's fine. What do I have that isn't supposed to be there?
I don't know. I haven't been through it. I'm just.
I can have
mean,
2 unregistered vehicles, I got 2 unregistered vehicles. The rest of them are registered.
40
They're complaining
unregistered
about my
boats.
camper. I stole my fishing gear in there. I got tuna gear.
All right, so it says vehicles, vehicle parts, campers, boats, multiple scrap pieces, and debris. So you have 2 cars that are unregistered, everything else is registered.
Yep. and they can have a camper.
What about applying for a junkyard license?
I don't need that happen. I don't have a junkyard, it's, personal stuff, I think,
That's what constitutes the junkyard.
and it's a horror show.
Junkyard means a place used for storing and keeping or storing and selling, trading, or otherwise transferring old and scrap copper, brass, rope, rags, batteries, paper, trash, rubber debris, waste, or junk to dismantle or wreck motor vehicles or parts thereof, iron, steel, or other old scrap or other old or scrap ferrous or non-ferrous material as used in the subdivision. The term includes but is not limited to the following types of junkyards: recycling, machine junkyards, motor vehicle junkyards, motor vehicles which are no longer intended or in condition for legal use, used parts of motor vehicles, Ryan, what are we gonna do?
I have no place to store it out back, it's out front, you know what I mean? And besides, that guy that keeps complaining stole rocks off my boundary wall, so I'm gonna make a complaint against him for that. And they keep it busy for a while, so they're running my business.
All right.
I don't know, if it was me, I would suggest you get a junkyard license.
That's a headache, and I don't have a junkyard, and I don't want one. You don't just go get a permit to do
Oh, is it
that.
a pain?
It's a nuisance, that.
Have you ever tried?
No, but I know friends that have, and they don't just give them out.
Because we have a junkyard in town.
Yeah, but it's probably grandfather or something.
Paul Davis, no,
Paul
he
Davis,
has
yeah.
to, yeah, he's got a state license, and he has to renew it every year, and he has to renew it here with the town, and then DES, the Department of Environmental Services, go up and make sure he's following what he's supposed to do, and all their requirements.
Do you think there'd be any problem with DES one up there?
No.
You wouldn't have any problem at all? What about a fence?
I guess.
I don't know, we're just throwing out suggestions, so we don't have to keep hearing about it, you know? It's getting bigger and bigger. 2 or 3 years ago, the place looked great. Had it all stacked up, lined up, didn't
Oh,
put
you
away,
said
everyone out loud.
And I recommended you to Adam Burke today because he's looking to get rid of the refrigeration bag truck. I said, I think Brian might want it. But I would add to it.
There you go.
I don't know. We gotta do something.
Well,
What can we compromise on here? I say junkyard license.
I ain't even gonna attempt that. That is a headache that I don't need and I don't want it. There's no space for a junkyard anyways. You need a lot of land, that makes me flat land to do a junkyard. I live on a big hill.
And have Falcon over talk with you?
Last time, someone did,
What did he say?
he just said keep it posted.
Once again, this is a piece of turf that we have visited so often in the last 20 years, it's not funny anymore. One man's trash is another man's treasure. What Brian has down there does not meet the specifications of the junkyard. Paul Davis ships out junk cars, crushes them with a Michigan motor, loads them on a flatbed, covers them with a mesh net, trucks them off to whatever metal recovery site he's using at the time. Brian doesn't do that. No junk cars down there. Instead, he's got 2 unregistered. That's what he's allowed to have.
No, he has 2 registered, but
No, 200.
2 unregistered.
And
Which are allowed.
if I told you the names of some of the other people in town who have been before this board and the excuses that they had as to why they had X number of unregistered vehicles, you'd be on the floor laughing. And if you think you're going to make this man pay or change what he's doing, you better go get another legal opinion, because you ain't gonna win.
So basically, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it don't matter.
Just
Well,
land.
that's what you're saying.
It's his land. What do you think you're gonna do to him?
I'm just worried about, what's it doing? What's it doing to the ground? Where's the rust going? Where's
Do
it?
you remember
What's going in the
Ed,
ground?
remember Ed Kelly?
Oh yeah.
What happened to him?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened to his collection? He what?
I don't know.
Well,
You talking about the house down here that
Yeah.
just got, everything got removed?
Ed Kelly didn't do anything.
I know DES went in there a bunch of times.
And what did they do?
They fined his ass.
I don't think so.
Well, they must have done something. They wouldn't just walk in, find some stuff, and walk away. That's not how it works.
I don't think they did.
So we need to stay focused on Brian right now.
Right.
What happened
Brian,
was,
tell us what you do with all
Ed
that
Kelly
stuff
died,
on your property, like
and
all
Michael
the
cleaned
different
it up.
pieces of equipment.
And that was
You
a
say
worse,
you-
that was a worse case
We need
than
to stay
anything in
focused
town,
on Brian
because
right
it's all
now.
wetland.
And we need to stay focused on Brian right now. So,
Yeah,
Brian, tell us what, so all the stuff that's on your property, what do you do with all that? Do you fix things and sell them?
No, I don't, it's work equipment.
It's work equipment, so everything that's on there is you use for jobs.
Yes,
What about the campers and the vehicles and all
I
that?
can have a camper. I don't need that on the way.
So, I don't know, I think I would like to take this under advisement of, our health inspector or talk to somebody else about it, because I don't know what to do about this.
Well, we
The
don't even,
biggest-
we can't even say anything to the people complaining,
Well,
I
the
mean, all
biggest,
we can do is listen to them.
I think the biggest concern for me with a lot of this stuff is, just what's going into the ground. That's the biggest concern I have, because as, we do have a lot of issues, and we have to start caring about what's going into the ground.
What are the issues that we have?
We have issues going of water contamination, of our well
Barnstead's got the
waters.
worst water in the freaking state.
Who does?
Barnstead.
Dying.
Barnstead does.
Relevant.
If you ain't figured that out by now.
Not as a result of
Oh, stop.
Brian's property.
It doesn't matter. It's still a problem on top of a problem. Ed.
No, you can't tell me, you can't prove what your
So,
problem is.
I think that's the
Says
biggest
we
issue
have bad water.
Because of your business,
My water's
Brian,
fine.
does DES come down and regulate,
Yeah, so somebody's oil
any
starts
of your
dripping in
trucks
it.
or anything like that because of the business that you're in? So you're not required to have any of that?
If you have anything you get rid of Friday, you don't need to use it, it'll help
I can
out.
move something somewhere else, I suppose.
It'll, might make it look like you've done something that
Alright.
whoever's doing the complaining is happy
Maybe,
and.
creative, putting things away,
Yeah,
like
well,
maybe-
after I get out of here, I got 2 more stops. I'm not really in the mood to take care of it.
But if you have
I hit
time
the
on
down button and
weekend,
move on to my next mission, you know?
I
Gotta be done
understand.
tonight, Brian.
No, but that's
Doesn't
pretty
get
much
dark
most
till
nights.
8:30.
Very good if that's it.
I suppose, but then you have trouble finding it. If you have a little path to it, you can dig it up when you
Take
need it.
pictures so that you know where you put it, that way you can just check your phone and say, aha, it's in there.
Yeah. I can do that.
If there's anything you can do that can help
Any.
us by our end, great.
Alright.
You know.
I'll move a few things around.
I drive by there every morning and I see your trucks down in Mass, and I'm like, ah.
How many boats you got, Brian?
2.
2?
How many snowmobiles?
Now I got 1.
How about, watercraft?
Yeah, I got 2 jet skis.
How tractors?
Oh, I don't know. Depends on what your definition of a tractor.
Yeah, because
Some people
that's
call
what
an
I could
excavator
use.
a tractor, I don't.
All right,
I got 2 tractors.
how many pieces of construction equipment?
I got quite a few. I got a couple builders. My excavator. My trucks. Cement mixer.
You don't have to prove anything to me, Brian.
I just trying to think of something else. I'm sure if I was standing there, I could find it.
Good inventory.
I never really made it.
I think Brian said he's gonna see what he can do to help things out, look better, whatever, right?
I will.
What are you gonna do? He's got a lot of stuff he needs for his business and.
We're not here to bust your balls. We're just here to get
You're
a,
getting bitched at.
right.
So you're gonna
I mean, we're supposed to make it look like we're doing something.
We are on camera. Rick, Terry,
Forget sometimes. Right, Ed?
Okay, so what are we going to do? We're gonna give Brian some time to
Yeah, he's gonna make some adjustments.
make some adjustments.
I'm good with that.
Everybody's good with that?
Oh,
Give
yeah.
Brian some time to make some
All
adjustments.
right.
We wanna follow up with this, or are we good? Follow up in 30 days? Are we good? It's everybody's pleasure.
Well, we forward the calls to your house?
Oh, you don't answer that phone anyway. It's a fax line.
I was
Probably
gonna
don't
say,
even know what the number
you
is.
can forward all you want. I'm willing to bet.
All right,
Nobody's
get outta here.
answering me.
Well,
I think we
Have a
just.
good one.
All right, bye, Brian.
See, Brian,
Thanks
take
for
care.
stopping by, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is, and that's the Shelby's chief with the new hire.
That's non-public.
That would be non-public, so in cases, anything else that's public.
Do we have any agenda reviews? Well, do we wanna just do non-public and then talk after?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, are we done with Andrew, or does he come back?
It's up to you.
Can you come back if you want back with the public?
We haven't finished the agenda, yet.
Well, how much longer can you do them?
I don't know, I have some things.
Well, this here shouldn't take us too long, right? This is a signed, sealed, delivered, basically.
Okay.
To meet the-
This is just a new hire? Is that all we're doing, is meeting him? Why is that not public? He's already been hired, right?
Yeah, I think you have to swear him up front.
I don't
We
know.
have the appointment paper there, be sworn in, so yes, I think.
We have to swear him
Waiting
in,
to
I
be
thought.
sworn in, and that would be in public,
Oh,
and then you sign his letter of hire.
yeah, so this is public, isn't it?
Yes, unless
He's
you're
already
asking
hired.
background or anything, but no, you can do it in public.
Okay. It's just an oath swearing in, isn't it?
If you were meeting him, exactly, not the customer.
I think we're good. Are we all good?
Unless, the chief had
Do you
completed
have
the
the oath
background,
paper?
so unless it's in the signatures, the red folder. Which is, and I think the other file, would be Karen and
John and
there you are.
yeah, whatever, Karen.
Good.
All right.
Good name, John.
John in our.
Are you ready for it?
I'll ask him for clarification. And Ignacio, we'll ask him. What do you will ask?
Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Just the way it's spelled.
Huh?
Ed Canasio.
Yeah, I was right.
You look familiar.
With the awesome Bob Friedis, maybe.
Oh, boy.
Yes, I know, I'm sure we have.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you all.
How you doing?
Good.
Call him Johnny E for short.
Yeah, that's,
That works.
that works, right? So I do have a copy of my resume here, so you know.
I think we already hired you.
I think we already hired
Well,
you.
you get it anyways. I printed it out on the good paper, so.
So we just want to welcome you to the
There you go, sir.
department.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate everybody meeting with us tonight. I know we've had some brief conversations about John in the past. I know John for a long time personally, on a professional level, not like ever friends when hung out or anything like that. But what I learned doing his background is I learned, other than him being
Just to let you know, we're public.
yeah.
Yeah, just want to know.
Just so you- yeah. Other than being a constant professional and a gentleman that I've known him to be, John has an exemplary, outstanding track record, police personnel file. He started with the Dover Police Department prior to going to state police. He worked his way up through the ranks. He started with the state police in 1997. And from 98 to 2002, he went to the Narcotics Investigation Unit. From 2003 to 2012, he became a major, became part of major crimes. 2012 to 17, he became a lieutenant in charge of the Narcotics Investigation Unit. I think that's when John and I worked mostly together. And in 2017, he became the captain in charge of investigative services. 2018, he was promoted to a major. What I'd like to really mention is, going through a lot of his personnel file, I mean, there's nothing but accolades in there. I noticed another good friend of mine, Russ Compton, who was a major in state police, who was his boss at one time, and I'm gonna actually quote what he said in one of his evaluations. He said that Captain Incanasio takes every advantage to the strength of the state police team. His ability to work with his colleagues and outside agencies has become a mainstay in his personal reputation. I would not hesitate to assign him to tasks that involve multiple jurisdictional challenges, knowing he will easily bring all parties together for the greater good. I'm confident his reputation and contact base serve the organization on a daily basis. Certainly, John has what I found that really resonated throughout his evaluations is that John, you'll see it for yourself when you talk to him tonight, he's an effective communicator. He definitely leads by example, and he has certainly groomed his employees under him for success. And all those resonated, all those accolades resonated in his appraisals. John's received, what I didn't realize, I knew that John was part of major crimes, but he has really, for quite many years, since 2000, looks like since 2002, he really investigated quite a few homicides in the state. I haven't talked to John about this, but I kind of made some notes, and I'm sure it's probably someone will resonate with some people here today, because you'll recognize the names. And with John, one of the ones that I recognized right away was Sheila Robridge case, the murder case. He did a capital murder case in 08, the 09 Jennifer Ford case, 2010 Gray murder case, Richard Stawowski murder when he murdered his mother in 05, Michael LeBranch in 06, Ken Carpenter in 07. He's received, there were many letters of recognitions from the AG's office. One I really noted was from Jeff Strozen at the Attorney General's office for 2012 homicide of a 6-year-old girl. Another recognition from the Washington County Sheriff's Office for Matthew Slocum homicide. He received a 04 beyond the traffic stop. He received a kilo of cocaine. 2010 he was involved in an undercover in the wiretap. 14 drug dealers were arrested in a federal indictment for 100 kilos. mean, John is just an outstanding police officer throughout his whole career, and I think he's gonna be a great asset to our police department, something that we really need, and I'm happy to recommend him.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to having you on the team.
Thank you. Looking forward to working with you.
Yes.
John, is there anything I left out that you'd like to mention?
No, I mean,
What about?
And a lot of those cases, there's so many of them I forgot about, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, there was 7.5 years in the homicide unit, roughly 20 homicides a year, so you can do that. One way, shape, or form, because we don't have the numbers, you know, that other states do and other agencies do. Usually we were all involved in one part of the investigation. If we weren't a lead or a crime scene lead, you know, we did some interviews, we did, you know, some follow-up. So it's been a lot of work in the homicide unit, and certainly, do my share of crime investigations as well. That's really been, my background has been, since I've been in state police, 22 plus years in state police, 17 of them were spent in the capacity of detective. So that's really what I enjoy doing. It's rewarding work, and you know, it's when you find someone that's passionate about it, it's great teaming up and working together.
You got a hell of a batting average here.
Yeah, you should have.
75% case closing rate, 95% conviction rate. That's
Well, we put together
pretty good batting average.
we put together good cases. And, you know, sometimes they take time, especially when you're at the felony level. You know, when you deal with homicide type cases, you only know one bite of the apple, and you know, you don't want to roll the dice if you haven't, you know, crossed the T's and dotted the I's. So that's real important, and it trickles down, and it really comes down to, you know, whether it's a small case that, you know, your officers are doing on the road, or if it's a large scale investigation, you got to put the right time and energy into it to really make it the best possible work that can be presented to, whether it's a county attorney's office or the community office.
So I definitely want a case closed, and that is
I heard a little
that
bit
death
about it.
that we had. I want that case closed just as soon as possible.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. I'm
When
on
he's
it,
done it-
okay?
I'm on it.
5 minutes, you know, we're
That is
off and running.
gonna be his first assignment.
Dig into that a little bit, yeah. You know,
I know you're gonna be doing investigations
I know he was
and
waiting
all
for
of
me to
that.
say that.
And I'm glad of that. I'm wondering how you feel about, we got, and boy, I'm gonna say kids, and I mean kids coming in, which you probably are aware, they're
Yeah.
young, and, you know, I'm hoping that they can draw off of you
Sure, and
anytime.
I'll be honest with you, I'm excited about that. So, you know, I just retired from state police. You know, I'm working towards my master's degree right now, and I don't know what the future's gonna bring.
Right.
Once I have my master's, we'll see where that goes. But, you know, in the meantime, obviously I want to keep my certification, and no fault, you know, presented this opportunity. And like I said, I'm passionate about police work, and I'm passionate about working with others who feel the same way. And there was something about working with younger officers when when I can draw on my experience and say, hey, look, you know, as Paul, you know, been there, done that, you know.
Yep.
Listen, I'm going to give you some pointers. I'm going to tell you how to do this and coach you along, and you can really develop your officers. And I know, one of the challenges in a small town like this is getting officers to stay.
Right.
So if you can create an environment where they are learning, they're having fun, and they enjoy coming to work, you know.
I think you ought to give the newbies a copy of this, because if they can't draw off of this, you know, it's
They will.
it's impressive.
They'll be able to, and John will impart that on them.
Good.
John is a great communicator. You can
Yeah,
see.
definitely.
He's got the skill set, and he's just going to be a great addition to the team. John obviously comes with all the experience and all the training. We don't need the training. He's going to hit the ground running. We'll give him a stack of cases. He's going to run with it. So that's why I think it's a win-win situation. And I know he said he's working on his masters, and I hope we can keep it as long as we can. And that's my plan. And his future home.
So maybe you can tell us why, John, you want to take a demotion to work for a small town like ours instead of something like, maybe training academy or some kind of
Sure.
special
So,
task force or
so,
something, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
certainly. So first of all,
You should be educated,
yeah,
you know?
I looked at my numbers, when I say my numbers, my retirement numbers, and it's a good opportunity to head towards the door. And I'm working on my master's, so I got a lot of extra stuff I'm doing, if you know what I mean, between studying and staying on top of that stuff. And initially I wasn't going to get involved in police work, for the next few months anyways, just because I want to focus on, my master's, maybe have a little bit of fun, kind of enjoy myself. And, and I think Paul sent me a message, hey, congratulations, let me know if you want some work, And, I thought about it, it's like, this really is a good opportunity because, down the road, my plan is to maybe become a chief of police in a small town, whether I stay in New Hampshire or I go to Massachusetts or I go to some other state. It gives me an opportunity to keep involved, particularly with detectives. And, again, I know Paul is thought of very highly here. He's done a good job. And maybe draw on some of his experiences as a chief, so I could kind of be a sponge to that while I'm, helping him out with his guys. So I just thought it was a good opportunity.
Okay.
And
I appreciate that.
yeah, and I never really looked around. Paul, kind of threw it out there. And about 10 minutes, I was like, it's something I think I'd like to do.
Well, we don't have to pay for you to go through the academy, so that's a plus.
Yeah, it's
It's a definite drug problem in this town, so.
well, there's a drug problem statewide, and like I said, I spent a good portion of my career, investigating drug trafficking. I worked undercover for 5 years, ran the drug dealer for 5 years. 7.5 years I worked homicide, and at least half of those cases were drug related. So there's a lot of crime that goes on in small towns, just as well as large towns. And if you have the resources, and sometimes you don't have the resources, but if you have the people that know how to investigate, know what to look for, know what to do, I think you're a little bit ahead of it.
What's good about John just retired, so he's not that far removed. He still has the same contact. People that he trained within the drug unit are still in the drug unit, or now even running the drug unit. Like I've seen one this past weekend in town. And they offered up there. They knew that John was coming there, and they, hey, we heard John's coming. Anything you need, give us a call, and we'll get hold of John too. So the connections are there.
So you're saying we can make some money on it?
Absolutely. That's the plan.
I still can twist some arms at state police. I can bring in whatever resources. Some of those guys are good friends of mine. It's a great opportunity. Obviously, I thank you all for that.
Any other questions, or do you want me to, Ed, how you doing back down there? You have any questions?
Not a one.
All right, everybody good? Can I swear in much?
Swear a minute.
Yeah, right hand. Okay, you ready, John?
I am.
All right. I, John Encarnacio, say it again.
John Incarnacio.
John Encarnacio, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will bear faith
I will bear faith
and true allegiance
true allegiance
to the United States of
to
America
the United States of America
and the state of New Hampshire,
and the state of New Hampshire,
and will support the constitutions thereof,
and will support the constitutions thereof.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I, John Encarnacio,
Encarnacio.
Encarnacio, do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
and affirm
and affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent
and perform all the duties incumbent
on me as part-time police detective
on me as a part-time police detective
for the town of Barnstead,
for the town of Barnstead,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can
Thank you, sir.
Notarize this?
Nice to meet
No,
you.
if you
Congratulations,
have
John.
him
Thank you,
sign-
Chief.
So John,
Thank you.
there.
And then you can sign it.
You have enough clothes outfitting?
Thank you and welcome. Well, welcome aboard.
Very good. Thank
Good
you,
luck.
folks.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Won't let you down.
We'll
Won't
see
let
you
you
out
down.
there.
Thank you.
Thank
Do you
you.
need me for anything else?
Not
Not
yet.
right, not
Okay.
yet.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seems very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, they're pretty fun.
I did too in the beginning and then I screwed it up. So, Karen, do you have anything for us tonight?
I
I know you have the
just
Jane
have,
Wesley.
yes, and, you have the attorney's response to the,
Yes,
right to know
we get
request,
into it.
so that certainly is discussed in non-public, because it's not client information. So what I have is, if you remember back, a few months, we had talked about, signing to get a fixed price on our oil for all
Yeah.
our buildings. And back a couple months ago, it was very volatile, the market wasn't stable. We had gotten the price $1.60 something. And no one else was going to, sign off at that point because they just felt the market, again, was too volatile. So I had Lisa call around today. She called 3 different companies. Huckleberry Rhines Eastern. Huckleberry is the lowest at $1.73. If you wanted to sign a contract, she has asked them to send the contract. It's here. Rhines was $1.74.9. $1.75. Eastern was $1.96.
Who do we use now?
Huckleberry. In all of the past years, when we've gone out to bid, they say Huckleberry is giving us the best prices. And so this contract would be from September 1 of this year to April 30th of next year. If you want to sign.
What's the price again?
It's $1.73 per gallon. And this is for oil. And last year, when we signed the contract, it was $2.37.
So it's gone down quite a bit.
It's gone down quite a bit. If the board wants to consider signing,
It's what, oil?
this is oil.
And how much, I'm sorry?
Oh, that's all right.
174.
173.
73 a gallon. So in the contract, what happens if the price goes up more considerably, up or down?
Are we fixed?
We're
Are we
fixed.
fixed?
We're fixed, and we go in for 9,000 gallons, but if we don't use the 9,000 gallons, they don't hold us to that. Who is that again? Huckleberry. And we also have Huckleberry for our diesel up at Highway.
So the consortium fell apart.
The consortium fell apart. It used to be Guilford School, a lot of SAU schools and towns, but it's fallen apart. No one has stepped up to the plate. So I called our SAU, and they hadn't decided what they were gonna do, either, John Claremont, who is no longer there, used to go out for bids. So we're pretty much left on our own, and so we've gone out to bid. I think it's a good price. So if you want to, sign the contract, it's a
I
standard
mean, last year
contract.
was sold, what, 79 average for winter.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap.
And speaking to oil guys we talked with, they're saying that it's already bottomed out, it's just gonna go up from here, so.
Well, it always does, when closer to winter.
Closer to winter, right, and we know,
Seems to be a shortage.
a couple months ago, it was down to $1.60 something, 68 or something, so it's slowly going up if you want to
So
sign
if we want,
and make more.
How much do we purchase, does it say?
About 9,000 gallons.
Wow.
Lisa was in earlier, she said she added up all last year, it was 9,100, you know, was,
That's the town hall, the library, the police department, 2 fire departments, and the highway garage.
highway guys, all our buildings.
so make a motion, we go with Huckleberry for oil at $1.74 per gallon.
No, 73.
Then
Second.
73.
It's $1.739.
Is there,
Yeah, just at $1.73.
Really?
Yep,
I've never seen that before.
right,
Right, that's good through April of next year.
through April 30th of 2021, yeah.
so, and second, is there any discussion? Just reading the contract.
That's fine.
And have you bothered to calculate what the actual dollar value difference between this
Well, I
year?
mean, it's very easy. We used 9100 last year at 237, so that's $21,567. And so if we say 91 again at 73, it's $15,700.
$6,000.
So when we did the budget, it was based on that 230.
Right, for this year, but, right, exactly.
The second
For
half
the
of
rest
the year,
of the
there's gonna
year.
be savings.
Yeah, so we'll save there and then
First half.
halfway through there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
Thank you.
Make sure I signed everything. Anything else you have for us?
I believe that's it. There's a grant, the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act. If you'd like to look into it, grant person?
It's gonna be in by tomorrow.
No, September. She has
Oh,
till
wow,
September.
I actually have a month to look
There
at
you
this.
go.
Wow, that's amazing.
Funny how all the grants go in. Got me in by like next week.
And they don't decide on until the.
Okay, so,
And that's
any public announcements or committee reports?
Did we cover milfoil
Oh, sorry.
and BCEP?
No, we didn't. So inside the folders was the highway weekly schedule, the milfoil update, and the VCEP agenda. Does anyone have, I was really happy about the milfoil update, so that product.
Where are they treating now, do you know?
I know this year was
Suncook?
Lock Lake and Suncook, right?
right.
And then next year is gonna be, they're gonna do.
Is there an actual schedule for that?
Next year, they're gonna do, Suncook River, which I'm very excited about.
They started there
They did a
originally,
little
and then they realized that that's the back end of it.
Well, yeah,
They start at the bottom
Did
and
they
work
do
our way
it
to the
this year,
top.
lock and what?
Suncook, I believe.
Sunkirk. I don't know if it was Upper Lower.
Yeah, one of
But
the
this new product that they're using is working.
Right.
So that
That's what-
means that,
that's what it's saying,
so
yeah.
it was a lot more money for this that we voted on, I don't know, two years ago or something. And so they have a plan in place, and this is fantastic because it's gonna mean less money down the road. And so the next plan will be the Suncook River, so this whole area down here, with the Parks and Rec area, that should that's, the plan is for next to do that, which would be good, because it would be really nice if I was doing all the milfoil now. So yeah, I was very happy to hear that. So everything's working. Any other questions about the informational items?
ECEP.
ECP.
That was the agenda, I'm not sure,
Yeah, it's just the agenda.
just the
I guess
agenda.
I'd ask Ed a couple things on that.
Okay.
As far as these junk things on the side of the road, mattresses, tires, this and that and everything, what's this common practice as far as, say, highway, pick this stuff up? I mean, do we have to pay for that over there, or they got something worked out with the individual towns?
They will, highway has a truckload of whatever. They'll request a waiver, comes in, the chairman signs it, or I sign it, and then just take it up to disposal. That's the advantage of belonging to this group.
So we have to sign it before they go up, is that it?
Supposed to.
So get a, okay.
That will alleviate situations such as when Alan T. decided to drop off some stuff over here. If he'd done it correctly, we wouldn't have any problem at all, but his TDG's got in the way.
So if George was to pick up a few things here and there, trying to help everybody out, obviously, not directing them to, nobody is, it's just people have gotten in contact with me about this dumping and this and that, and they want to know, you know, how do they go about it? And George has a dumpster, but we can't start filling his dumpster up. So would we, I guess what I'm asking is, if we had him pick up a truckload of stuff, would he have to hold on to it and then go through the motion, or?
When you say a truckload of stuff, if he were to pick up, we'll say mattresses and
Yeah.
old couches,
Right.
those are easy to dispose of.
Right.
But if he had his crew out picking up trash on the side
Yeah,
of the
I see
road,
what you mean, yeah.
that becomes a problem, because then you have mixed trash,
Yeah.
okay? And the town doesn't have the resources
Right.
to sort it, nor does BCEP.
Yeah.
So it would have to be disposed of as unseparated trash.
Okay, so let's say there's a few mattresses and a couple of tires, which is pretty easy, like you said.
Yep.
How do they go about it? Do they just hold it and then we go through the motions and then they get the okay to go over there?
Karen, do you have the forms in here?
Yes, we have the forms, so they come here, they have the forms, and typically, the select board representative, who is Ed, has to sign the form, not just the
Yeah.
selectman. That's what he likes to happen. But you have to list on there exactly what the
Yeah.
equipment is,
Okay.
that you're bringing over.
Okay,
Yep.
great, all right, that's, because it's people that have stuff that's been, laying there on the side of the road, and I talked to George about it, and not, if we were able to work out maybe them picking some of this stuff up, or if they'd be able to get rid of it without them having to fill their dumpster up, which we're paying for, and like that, so at least I got an
What if we
idea.
know who left the stuff on the road that's been there for a year? Like, for instance, there's a guy on my road who's left a bicycle and a car seat. And he lives in the house behind, and I know it was him that left it there, and it's been there for a year. What do you do in a case like that?
You talk to the new investigator. No,
I was gonna say, what you said earlier, call Brian, see if he wants.
You guys are good. I
There you
would have
go.
stopped there and taken it.
No, I'm
right back on
deadly
his
serious
lawn.
here. I really, what do you do?
Put it on his lawn. That's what I would do.
you gotta prove it or what.
I don't
want
wanna touch it because I don't wanna be beat crap out of or whatever,
I've got a neighbor that lives up the road, and I saw him today, and I know he does it about once a month. He and his wife will drive from the parade back up to their house, or from their house back down to the parade. And every 2 feet, they get out and they pick up plastic and glass and paper, and they go along, pick up some more. They're just really good people, and
Yeah.
very dedicated. I'm not sure how they dispose of it, whether they have a dumpster or whether they take it up and pay to have it disposed of.
Yeah,
But it's just what they're doing over on the Province Road.
there's a few like that are, you see them out there and,
How we doing with the
you know,
adopter road?
Well, I think Parks is gonna be coming up with a cleanup thing again. So,
I wish they wouldn't,
well,
because they come up with a bunch of trash and they take it up to the town dumpster. And it's just,
But we're cleaning our roads.
I don't know if they should take it to the dumpster, it should just go to the dump, right?
well, that might be the best way, but they would have to pay to dispose of it.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at in a roundabout way is, if they have a roadside cleanup and they clean this all up, like, I would think there should be some kind of a waiver, so these people that have come out and put their time in and effort, they don't have to pay for picking up our town.
Well, at this point, there is none. And
Well, I
I
guess it
can
goes in a
tell you
dumpster.
that in years past, it has created, Andy was trying to accommodate him as best he could, created just a bigger problem than it was worth. Really did.
What is the answer? We leave the trash on the
Yeah, I
side
mean,
of
you
the
can't
road?
just leave the trash.
And I think we
Just
made
keep
it a
collecting and
practice that
collecting.
we do the cleanups, that we typically bring it to the dumpster at the highway department, that's what we've been doing. And Andy's actually come and picked it up for us.
You know, we put a truck out 2 years ago, I think I asked about it, I was trying to get this set up, and Parks jumped in and
I think
they put a truck
the board
out.
was okay with doing that in the past. I don't see why we couldn't, I mean, we're cleaning up our roads.
And then what, all of that in the truck goes to the dumpster?
Right, yeah, I know the dumpster.
I know it's tough,
Still,
but we gotta have something for them, if people do it, and the roads need it. And if they're gonna be good enough to do something like this.
And don't we pay for, a dumpster at the highway department that doesn't go to the dump?
No.
We don't? That dumpster always,
It's the same company that's out here, so waste management.
right, so
Up
waste
there.
management, that doesn't go to the dump.
No,
And we have one up at the highway department,
Right,
waste
waste
management.
management.
So it actually doesn't even go to the dump. Waste management picks it up.
right, it's not,
I guess, I mean, you know, we've got the dumpster, we're gonna pay for it, getting the roads cleaned up by volunteers.
It goes
is
to waste
probably
management.
we can pay for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just
We
didn't know
just
if there
would-
might be a
yeah.
waiver or something at PCEP or,
yeah, the only thing is, you know, we might have to pay for an extra pickup, but, I mean,
It's never really been that big.
if it's filled, but, you know.
No, yeah, waste management.
I don't think we've ever had that problem.
okay.
A few years ago, they had a program to clean up the Suncook River. And they put a big box dumpster down on the freight ground. And they had tires
Can they come later?
and all manner of,
Are they coming here for
Shit,
other
butter.
reasons?
but they did a real good cleanup.
10,
A lot of people just throw that stuff in the river, let the current take it downstream.
Go ahead, picture.
So did you want to see?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and fix it.
So we put it in the waste management.
Yeah, so we do it with
Not
those,
the
get rid of it without, yeah, we don't
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah,
was
that's
clear.
what I want to, because I know some people have asked me, like Ed said, they pick up stuff on the side of the road, and they're like, you know, we've got, 8, 10 bags, and what are we supposed to do? And I want to get the okay that, and then of course I would talk to George. that
Most
they
of,
can
most
get
of
rid
the
of
time,
it
we're
there.
talking about a very small quantity.
Yeah,
You know, I
but,
mean, unless there's some kind of
It hasn't been a big
program
deal in
going
the
on.
past, it really hasn't.
And probably most of the guys who work
The
for
waste
roadie
management that have that, like,
up
park
throwing in
thing,
trash.
pick up and
Yeah.
yeah,
fill it
and
up
then
with as much stuff. and
the
all
other
that.
thing, that'll work perfect. I'll find out about mattresses and tires and get the forms and,
yeah,
okay.
See, the other thing, I have to admit that I have become a stronger advocate for recycling. If they could pick out the glass, that takes the weight out of the disposal fee, okay? Because that's the heaviest thing you throw away. Plastic drink bottles, dump the liquid out of them, we can dispose of those and actually get paid for them. Paper is paper is paper is paper. It's gonna go to the landfill.
But BCEP wants the glass, so I think in the past, what Ed was suggested that when you do your cleanups, see if they'll separate the glass and take that to BCEP, because that's what you want, right, Ed?
Yeah, and for Barnstead, we're still the only town who's using the crushed glass.
Yeah,
So, when you're doing organizing,
maybe, yeah, we
see if
can have
you
them
could do that.
separate.
And and the plastic needs to be cleaned up, but I don't know if that will happen,
Yeah,
but
now you're
definitely the
reaching-
glass.
Yeah,
needs
I
to
mean,
be
the people good enough to
analyzed.
get out there and do this, I mean, we can ask so much, but.
We can ask the people that, we can ask the people that throw it on the side. They have one location we threw it across.
I prefer my Bud Lights in the glass bottle.
I was gonna say beer.
I wish it comes in plastic bottle.
My husband likes it in glasses as well. Okay, so, are we done with that? Anything else before I have, I just think, over the weekend, we had a lot of concerns, from townspeople, regarding the event that went on Thursday, which warranted us to, take some action and research what the heck was going on. In my opinion, I felt like we should have been asked to get permission to do this event, and we didn't. We didn't get asked permission. We found out about it the night before, and we were told to keep it quiet. So I think people are going to be looking towards us for some sort of a response to that. And I'm not sure. I know. I think I did a little research, and it was suggested to me by the New Hampshire Municipal Association after I sent them the information and the posts and the pictures, that we should contact our town council with this information. So, I think we should do that, just to, just to address the situation and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, we should definitely find out and make sure that we didn't do anything wrong. Nobody did anything wrong.
That, and what do you want to happen?
I
I
personally,
think that just, I'm sorry, I was just.
I'd like to see some preventive type, something put in place so stuff like this doesn't happen.
Why?
Why? Because now we have to deal with it.
Because it was on town property,
What do you mean, why?
it involved town employees, and it
town
involved the
resources
taxpayers' money.
And taxpayers'
And I don't
money.
think anybody can just go along spending that, using it that way, without us, because now we're fielding the question, and we don't have the answers, because we didn't know about it before, less than 24 hours before. I think anything that involves the taxpayers' money, employees and property should go through the select board, because we're the ones gonna hear about it.
And I feel that there should be some disciplinary action with
Come on.
the chief for
Oh,
doing this without
please.
asking. I feel there should be a warning.
What?
I feel that he should be disciplined for not asking us to do this.
He didn't do it.
event.
All
Yes, he did.
All he did was say, yeah, you come into the police department.
No, he
Listen, things like this.
Ed, there was a lot of hours and time put into this, setting this up, on our dime.
Yeah.
If you don't
Setting
think
it-
so,
setting it up.
if you don't think so, you don't know what's going on over there.
right?
Setting it up.
Setting it up, yes.
What was set up?
Setting up all the manpower and setting this whole thing up that people were coming in, and the whole thing was set up. Setting the podium up, I don't care if it took 5 minutes, it was on the townspeople's dime. And what's so wrong with getting the okay on it? Because maybe we wouldn't have okayed it.
No, I don't see there's
No,
anything
if
wrong with
I-
it. And
I-
things like this happen every day all over the United States.
Who
sorry.
takes responsibility? If we all of a sudden get COVID through everybody that was over there, because these people have been traveling state to state, and they went in there with no mask, no nothing. And who's responsible for that? Now, if somebody broke a leg over there, which they could any day of the week, But if somebody from, let's say, the people that came in broke a leg over there, and they're gonna sue the town, now the town's gonna say to us, who's responsible for it? How the hell are we responsible for it? We never okayed it. We didn't okay this. We should at least know what's going on to okay it.
And that's why the town has insurance policy.
That's not the point.
It's no different than if somebody broke their leg out here
It
in
is
this parking
different.
lot.
It is
No, it's
different.
not. No,
It
it's
is,
not.
because
No,
that's
it's not.
normal, that is normal conditions, people in this
no,
parking
and no.
lot. That was not normal working conditions. And to okay, did you look at the overtime this week?
No, I didn't.
Okay. There's new people that got, first of all, I don't understand why new people are getting overtime, but they're not even certified yet. But there's all kinds of overtime on there for people. There's almost 30 hours overtime. People work that day. They all get called in, they all worked. I don't, you come in, I talked to the chief about this. I talked to him. And as he said, all towns, municipalities have people that come in.
They do.
They're gonna have, of course they do. And like he said, he would welcome any campaign, no matter who, what, how, or what. Great, to come in, and I understand that. Come in, shake hands with them, give them whatever they gave them, a certification, an award, whatever they did. Do all of that, but to set up this whole thing like that, the road got blocked off. He explained to me why, and I understand that. But this whole thing got set up. Everybody, all hands on deck over there. There was all kinds of speeches and this and that. That's not a normal work day. That's not a normal routine over there. A lot of time, effort, and money went into this. And if you read the overtime, you'd see that manpower was brought in there. We don't have a full complement of officers working on a Thursday at a regular time like that. When this comes to something like this, I believe we should okay it. I think the taxpayers depend on us for that, not for department heads just to decide they're going to do this and on the taxpayers' dime, and it should be okay. That's not how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to, as you well know, be the ones that are guiding the taxpayers' money. And I think a lot of taxpayers would have loved it, and I think a lot didn't, and I think that the ones that didn't have a right to it.
First of all, the other thing that's an issue is, I did research this to find out if there was any violations because of all the posts that were being posted about a Hatch Act. So what I did find out, which I sent to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, is that he quoted me RSA 549:44, which prohibits electioneering by public employees, and the statutes say no public employee, as defined in RSA 273:1 IX, shall electioneer while in the performance of his or her official duties. No public employee shall use government property or equipment, including but not limited to telephones, faxes, machines, vehicles, computers, for electioneering. For the purposes of this section, electioneer means to act in a way specifically designed to influence the vote of a voter or on any question or office. Any person who violates this section shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Now, the lawyer urged me to tell the select board to contact town council to review the particular facts of this incident as soon as possible. So, I don't know what the heck's going on here, but I did send him the pictures, I did send him the posts, and I did send him the information, and this is what he sent me. And he was concerned enough to tell me to contact the town council as soon
Let
as
me get
possible.
something straight here. In 2016, then candidate Trump was in the squad room of the Manchester Police Department with over 75 uniformed officers giving a speech for well over 2 hours. And I did some research, and I can assure you that there's no Hatch Act filed against the Manchester Police Department. Because I did
But this
research
isn't
that.
the Manchester Police Department,
I
this is
am letting,
Barnstead.
but I'm letting you know, there was no electioneering, there was no fundraising. The speeches were saying thank you for law enforcement. There was nothing to say vote for Trump. There was none of that
There was
information.
pictures of all of you with Woman for Trump and Trump and Pence
That
signs.
doesn't matter.
That is
Does matter.
campaigning for Trump.
I got
No,
asked.
no,
Excuse
and
me.
no.
Yes, it is.
I got
It is
asked on
campaigning for
Sunday.
Trump. When you wear a button and you wear a hat, that's campaigning
Do
for
you
Trump.
realize that at Prospect Mountain High School, if you walk into the principal principal's office, you're gonna see a picture of him with
That's the
President
school.
Obama.
This is a
fine.
municipality. We are supposed to be nonpartisan. No campaigning.
Wait a minute, schools are not supposed to be nonpartisan?
I don't care about schools. That doesn't fall under us right
What, you
here.
think any universities are or colleges
Well, we know
are?
that they're not.
Right.
What I'm
Right
saying
now,
is-
we're
It was a bad
discussing this. This is
It was a
one-
bad look.
This is an incident that we have to deal with.
This
We're not dealing with the
happened-
school.
I mean, as
We're not
Ed
dealing
says,
with
this
Prospect
happens
Mountain.
when you
We're
have-
dealing with the town of
When you
Barnstead.
have, well, according to.
And it was campaigning to
According
me.
to Ray
That was
Buckley, he
campaign.
said that if anybody's desperate enough to come to Barnstead, then there's a problem, which I think is pretty offensive
Diana.
since he's the head of the DNC from the state of New Hampshire, but anyways, I digress.
Diane,
Bottom
I
line
respect you and I respect your opinion. I really do. But I don't know how you could not have seen this as campaigning. I'm confused, knowing you and respecting you as I do. I do not understand why you don't see this as
Because I've been
campaigning.
to a lot of different campaigns, this is not campaigning. Campaigning is
Well-
telling them all the platforms and all that, that was not
Do
presented.
you
there.
consider that a normal police day over there, what went on the other day?
I don't know, please say no.
You're okay with having all those officers on the pay scale that day, because they were. They all got
I
paid for
would
that.
ask to see what the amount was that we.
It's right in our thing. It's right there. They all got paid for the other
I
day.
would like to see what the amount that it costs the taxpayers for anything.
I don't care if it was $1.
It was
I'm not so sure
it
the
was
taxpayers
not
agree it should have
ordinary.
been done.
There was funds that were used inappropriately, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, there was people on duty that weren't supposed to be on duty. There was no notification to the select board. And, you know, this is where the problem comes in. And then we were notified very, very last minute about the whole thing. Karen, we mentioned to you many, many times that we want
What's that?
to know what's going on. Whether it's gonna happen or not, we still should have known about it.
Okay, and I notified you when I found out about it. And
4:59
my,
on Wednesday.
and my question,
That was when you found out
it was
about it?
on
Because I
Wednesday.
know Lisa knew before
It
that.
was on Wednesday that he came and the chief of police came and said, I'd like to invite you over. And what he relayed to us was it was recognizing the female police officers and recognizing the police department with all this stuff about defunding police. That is why
We told you on Wednesday.
we did not go on town time. There was not $1 spent of us, let me finish. We took that off our time card. We did not charge the town for that. We were invited over to what I thought, especially as town administrator, I should be supporting the women police and our police department as a whole. That was why we went. I didn't know any of the particulars. I didn't know.
I don't know.
He and
I think as town administrator,
let me finish,
Go ahead.
please,
I
yes. And I did what
I
the
thought you
chief
would.
asked me. No, the chief asked me, please invite the select board and let them know who's coming, but please, it is not to go out to the public. So I did exactly as he asked. At that point, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary being asked. And certainly, I mentioned to you earlier when we discussed this, I sent it to you. If anybody had any questions, you all have the chief's number. You could have called the chief. I asked Lori, did you reach out to anyone? She reached out to Diane. But I said to Lori, because Lori feels that part of this is my fault, that I should take some fault for it.
not
But-
fault, responsibility.
And I replied to her, if she had personal things going on apparently, which was why she couldn't respond. But I said to her, if she was concerned about it, or any of you selectmen, you could have contacted me. You could have said, Karen, find out about it, what's going on? Or you could have called the police chief yourself. We all have
Yeah.
limited information. You've got his cell phone number.
No, but when would we have called it?
That night, after you got the,
But
The
just one
email,
of us,
because it
we
was
don't have the
happening-
power to stop something, Karen. We have to meet as a group. That's why he should have came to us on Tuesday and asked us permission
all right. And
first,
that-
just like he does anything else.
And
This
I
comes-
wouldn't have had the power to
this
stop
comes
him
back.
at
But
that
if you
point
knew
either.
about it, you
But
should
I-
have said to the police chief, oh, you better
I
This should
didn't
be on
know
the
about it.
agenda.
I only knew when he came over
And then you
Wednesday
allow
afternoon.
your staff to stop a work day when they should be working to go and attend.
I
They
understand they
went on
punched
their
out,
own
they did the
time.
right thing, I get all of that, and that's fine. He may have only told you on Wednesday, at almost 5 o'clock, that it was a go. He explained to me that he didn't get positive verification till late Wednesday. Whether that's what it is or not, I have no clue, but that's what he told me. But he also knew about this sooner. And that's when we should have known about this. We're the
How
ones,
do you know that, Gary?
how do I know what?
That he knew about it
You
earlier?
talked to Chief Boria on the phone.
I talked to him.
And what did he tell you?
He told me he didn't want to say anything sooner because it wasn't definite.
Okay, all right, that's legitimate.
Yeah, and which I told him I totally understand. But that doesn't mean I don't think we should have been told about it sooner, that it was a possibility it could happen. I don't think we were told because we would have maybe shut it down, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why.
He's not an event planner. He's a chief of police. He should be out there doing his job, not planning events.
Long smoke, Rick.
No, I'm not.
No,
Let me
I,
tell you something.
How
If you
much
try
of what
to
you're saying,
exalt-
Ed, let's talk about the town, not the candidate, because I could care who's over there. I don't
I'm
care who
telling
was
you
people's
that
money.
if you try to exact any measure of reprimand and you hang your hat on the Hatch Act, you will get it handed back to you.
Oh.
I haven't
You're
hung
a
my
lawyer.
hat
I
on
just
any
read
of that.
to you.
I'm hanging my hat on the fact, I think that turned into an event over there. As a matter of fact, it was called an event over there, and I think we should have been notified to okay it or not okay it. And even whether we did or didn't, should have been notified about it ahead of time. Like I said, it involved taxpayers, employees, property, and monies. And I think we should have the right to okay that. We're supposed to get the right to do that. If George all of a sudden throws some shindig over to the highway garage, and people take all kinds of pictures, and it goes on for a few hours, and this and that goes on, and however, the same type of thing, a big splash, we should have known about that. We should have okayed that he could do this or couldn't. And I think pretty damn well, you'd have been questioning him on it if it happened that way. You just said, well, how come we didn't know about this, or shouldn't we have okayed this, George? I believe if it was the other way, you would have done the same. I don't care about any of the other incidentals with this thing. I just know that I fielded calls, messages, texts all weekend long, and I didn't have the answers. And when I took this position, I made it clear to everyone that this isn't going to go the way it used to go. We're going to be able to answer people's questions. We're going to know about everything up front so that we can answer their questions. They're the ones that we owe that to. Not to any department head, not to anybody else. We owe it to the taxpayers to be able to answer their questions. And I couldn't answer their questions because I didn't have the answers. And they were not happy about it. And that's a split, people. Some could Trump lovers, some aren't. It was very split. And I also had someone approach me on Sunday out of town, doesn't even live in this town, and probably half joking, but I didn't like it because it was the look. And said, well, we certainly know where Barnstead stands on the presidential race. Joke, serious or not, it was a bad look. It was a bad look. But my main concern is with the taxpayers' money that was spent over there. There was time that was put into this. And that's my problem there. We should have been okay in that. We can't tell him how to run his department, but we're responsible for the monies. That's where my issue is.
That could have been 3 days of administrative duties that he put on his time card.
And one more thing to say, and then I'm not going to participate in this discussion anymore. If you think that 30 hours of overtime is expensive, wait until you get your bill. Talk to Mark Papa. We've already had him in this office twice in the last 3 weeks. And I will bet you that dollar amount is well over $5,000.
well, we don't even know if the chief committed a misdemeanor, because according to this, it's a misdemeanor what happened on Thursday. So we don't even know. I think we should at least get some clarification. And that ain't gonna cost a lot of money. I mean, you can
How
just
much
read it.
do you want to bet?
Well, I don't care. I think it's important that we get clarification on this, because a lot of people in town are very upset. And if we don't handle it now, they're gonna come after us and they're gonna start stuff and they're gonna keep knocking at the door.
Oh dear,
I find it interesting
how
that
tragic.
you're worried about the taxpayer's dollar paying the attorney, but you're not worried about how much we spend on paving or wasting the police or anything else. All of a sudden, huh?
Can we
You
get,
just flip-flopped on that one, bud, huh, bud?
Karen, can we get a figure on what the cost was, the actual cost?
You can't figure the actual cost
We
out.
can.
You don't know how much time the chief spent on this.
We're not talking about the chief, we're talking about overtime.
The manpower?
Yes, I'd like
Sure.
to see what the total was for manpower.
It's right, it was
But what
right in the,
about
we
the
signed
time
the
that was
payroll.
I
taken
don't
away
know
from
what
our
the
pay,
cost
what about the time that was taken away from people for not doing their jobs during this whole
They
event?
punched out.
It doesn't matter, the police did it, but even if they punched out, we were supposed to be working during that time, that's another issue. So there's several issues here. I mean, I don't understand, and this,
Do
it
you
says
expect-
woman
do you
for Trump campaign, so
expect
I don't know how you can
employees
call this
to
not
be-
campaigning.
Do you expect employees to be chained to their desk?
It has nothing to do with
I'm
that.
just saying,
It
if
has
they
to do with
punched out-
electioneering, it's a
if it-
misdemeanor, and we
No,
shouldn't be
it's not.
doing it.
First of all, it's not even called electioneering. Let's get clear what electioneering
It
is.
says it right here, I have it by the lawyer.
You spoke to a lawyer at municipal association,
Yeah.
correct? Okay, so.
That's we pay for their membership so we can
And
do
I
that.
understand that, and trust me, they've given, what do you guys think, they've given pretty bad.
Maybe
advice,
so. Maybe
Uh,
so,
if-
but
if
that's
it
what
is
they're
a mis-
there for.
if
We
it is
pay
a
$4,000 a
misdemeanor-
year to
if it is
use
a
their
misdemeanor
services.
With all the right to know stuff that they've been requesting, that'll be handled at that point in time.
I want anything that town monies, property, or employees are doing, involved in, that is outside of a regular, let's say, work day or work, whatever is described as regular routine or work, I think should come past this board, should be approved by this board.
Or at least,
Because we are the ones
notify.
responsible for the taxpayers' money.
So going forward, you could certainly have a policy that just addresses something like this before any type of event or whatever may come forward, it has to go
Right.
before you. And it's that simple, but I will say, when this, from the beginning, I know what the municipal association says to you, but it says if you're electioneering, and that's not what this event was set up for. It was set up to recognize the people in the police
But
department.
is that what happened, Karen?
And maybe what
that
happened
what
is
happened,
out of
Karen?
everybody's hands.
No.
Maybe what happened was out of everybody's
If
hands.
you
I
invite
don't
the
know,
woman for
but-
Trump campaign to your police station,
It wasn't
the
the
woman
Trump
for
campaign.
Trump campaign, if you invite them, that's campaigning. I don't care how you wanna look at it, that's campaigning.
Well, I think it's
If
just being taken
Biden
out
did
of
the same,
context.
if they invited Biden in his van and it said, woman for Biden campaign, it would have been the same issue. Anything that says campaign in it, that's campaigning.
As the chief explained it all to me, he explained what it was about, it was for the woman, and the woman officers got to see all of this. I understand all that. He said he would invite any campaign in, he would never turn them away, they've come before. I get all that, and I'm okay with that. Of course, you can't say, no, you can't come on our property, or you can't stop here, or you can't, of course they can. But this was bigger than that. This was an event, and speakers, and this and that, and then they took, it was bigger than that. It wasn't just that, and that's where my issue is, again,
Yeah,
the
they
time
put-
and the money.
And they put campaign signs all over the town as well while they were here. So that's campaigning. And all I'm saying is I want to move forward and send this as they have recommended as soon as possible, to just get our town council's opinion on this matter.
And again, I'm fielding questions from townspeople, taxpayers, and they're like, who okayed the money to be spent for all those officers there and this and that? And I said, first of all, I don't know if they're even getting paid. Maybe this is a voluntary thing, but it obviously wasn't. Now I know that. I didn't have the answers. I didn't, and who gave permission to make this splash on town property? And this is what they're asking. I don't have the answers, and that's what I don't like, is when I don't have the answers. Now, if I had said it's not a big deal and this is what it's for, I'll go to bat for that any time, any day of the week. I'll take the people's questions on and answer them and fight for it if I went for it. But if I don't even have the chance to yes or no, and I'm fielding all these calls, it's not right. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to the people not getting their answers. That's how I feel about that part.
And have we
The rest,
received-
I don't care.
And have we received any federal grants for police equipment? What about all those grants we get monies from?
The only
Those on
monies-
federal?
The only monies police department
We've gotten several
has
grants.
is, their equipment in their police cruisers are state, that was a state grant, state monies.
What about the
We haven't-
tasers and all the different equipment
That's
that?
not, yeah, but that's not federal. It has to be federal funds that
But I'm
fund
asking,
it.
where are these grants coming from? Do we know that, or do you
State.
not know that? Every
State.
single one of them have been state.
State.
Every single one of them, and you put your life on that.
Well, I'm not putting my life
Well,
on
your
anything,
word, I should
thank
say, as
you.
town
I
administrator,
don't
your
believe
word.
that my job has come to that.
No,
that I have
no,
to
your
put my
word. I meant
life
to
on
say
the
your word.
line.
Your word, your word.
I can find out whatever you want me to find out. I'm saying right now, the
I think
computers
that's
in the
gonna be a
vehicle
question.
were state. The only thing that I know right off the top of my head that was federal, but we haven't had any monies for a couple of years, were bulletproof vests.
Okay.
But certainly this year, there isn't any.
But we
federal
have
funding.
received federal funds for bulletproof vests.
Yes.
I also want to make one more thing clear. In case anyone, is doubting or someone did say something to me, I am extremely pro law enforcement. And any awards they can get or this and that, I am all about and all for and always will be.
Yes.
That's not what I'm questioning here, and I just want to make that
I'm
clear.
just gonna see
Yep.
who's ringing the doorbell.
And it does have to be clear that we are for law, I'm for law enforcement as well. I just was very upset when I saw this huge event. And that's why I contacted Diane, because I was concerned that it wasn't a legal thing that we should be doing.
Building's open. Yeah, just loud.
No, they went away, so I don't know
Oh,
who's
they
ringing.
went away, they came in the
Oh,
back door.
good, so it's probably fire.
Police chief.
Can I say a few words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, I take full responsibility for what happened. Karen, I told on Wednesday afternoon, I asked her, just like she said, you guys to for her to notify the board.
How did you know we were having this discussion?
It's videotaped.
The whole thing's on video.
Oh,
So the event cost about $600, about $570 some odd dollars in overtime. I already have donors stepping up wanting to pay that. All right,
It's not
back
the
back
issue,
to the
though.
town. There's no issue here. Simply, they contacted me. They
When?
wanted to.
When did they contact
They confirmed it Wednesday
you? No,
afternoon.
when did they contact you?
21st, there was some talk about it. There was nothing confirmed, and I do not talk about anything until it's confirmed with me. And one of my concerns with is telling the board ahead of time, because I didn't want picketers, I don't want rioters out here, and I didn't want it getting out to the public.
but you could have came to us in non-public and asked us what
But-
you ask us for permission for community events, for
No,
whatever
I
you
don't.
want to do.
When I have community events, I don't ask for permission. I've had plenty of community
You did come
events.
in and ask us.
No, I have not. I've just done it. I've told you about it. I've never asked you for permission to do
Oh, I
anything
don't
over there.
remember that.
Well, and you, if it were a Democrat, I don't care who it was. If they, it doesn't matter. If they
They're
called me,
nonpartisan.
if they came over and said, do we want to thank the police officers? I'd say, come on over. I'm not going to say too much here because you think I committed a crime. You go ahead and look into that, and you're going to find that I didn't. You're going to find that I
What
didn't
I'm
violate
saying
the
is
Hatch Act.
that's what it says, electioneering. I read
It
what
was
the
not
RSA
electioneering.
was.
I simply asked, or they asked me if they could come and thank the police officers. Absolutely. Come on in and
Everybody
thank.
was campaigning that day for
They
Trump.
were not.
Nobody was campaigning.
Yes, they were.
Did I?
No, they
I
were.
never said vote for Trump. I never said anything like that.
Come on.
Again, I never said that.
It was a campaign.
It was not a campaign.
No.
You can say
They are
that.
driving all around the area campaigning.
I
you there?
can't control what people
Were you
do,
there?
Lauren.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
cannot control what people do. What I'm telling you is simply, and I've been doing this for 34 years. I've worked in Merrimack. I've worked for the state. I've been at places. I'll show you photos of me with other politicians, presidents, and people running for president.
Okay.
I have these photos. People come in. We need to greet them. Absolutely, we need to help with security, traffic, and things like that. That's why I bring these officers in. Plus, think of the experience that they're gaining doing things like this. So, anyways, again, I'm not going to say too much. I take responsibility. I did nothing wrong. You look into that. You look into the Hatch Act, and you're going to find that your police chief did nothing wrong, but you greet these people.
We have to respond to the people, Bob. We have to respond to the people. You know how many
Right.
calls?
And you said you wanted discipline on me.
Because if this was a violation, we'll have to. You should have
Okay.
come to us and asked us.
You're not
for
going to
that.
see any violation.
Well, I'm sorry you're upset, but
Upset. We do a good thing for the community and for everybody.
why did, all we're saying is you should have asked us. That's just ridiculous.
No, Laura, you are ridiculous.
No,
You can
that's
say I'm
not true.
ridiculous all
She's
you
not
want.
alone there.
Have it out there.
You are ridiculous.
This
I
is
don't
the whole
care. I
problem.
care about the people and the taxpayers.
I
They're
was
very upset
there.
over this.
I know what happened. You don't even know who all was there.
Well, there's pictures.
Who was there? What
lot.
other politicians were there?
Porky Mesner was there.
And who else?
I'd have to look at the pictures.
You wouldn't recognize him anyway. Mark Lewandowski was there.
Not Corey.
Actually, he was not.
No.
All right, well, then I didn't see him. That's why I didn't
Eddie
say,
Ed-
but you said, so I figured you got the name
Eddie
wrong.
Edwards was there. Did you recognize him?
Who?
Eddie Edwards.
I think I did. Well, I don't know. There was one guy, it doesn't matter. It's not really the problem here. The problem is he should have asked us for permission, and we should have known about it, and we didn't. And there was campaigning. I'm
No,
sorry
there
to
was
say
not.
there was.
No,
I don't care. I think
you weren't there.
if we took a vote, people
Oh,
would say it
Jesus
was
Christ.
campaigning.
There was no campaigning
Don't you
there.
think, Lori, that the people that should take the vote are the people that were there? And you have.
No, I think it's
myself
the vote of
telling
the
you
town of
that
Barnstead.
if
They
there was
pay
a-
tax dollars.
If it was a citizen who was at that event, that says there was electioneering, I would be more than happy to entertain it. There
Why
was no
couldn't those
electioneering.
people come just to present or say something nice instead of holding all the signs and everything? Why did they have to come with all the signs and everybody have signs if they weren't campaigning for Trump? Why couldn't they have just come and recognized our police officers? Why couldn't they have done that?
I can't answer that question.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Because they could have just come and said, we just wanted to come by and said, thank you for your service, thank you for hiring women,
But keep in
blah,
mind
blah,
too,
blah.
though,
But
if you-
instead it was a big rally.
If you look at the schedule, it wasn't even on the schedule, so obviously it wasn't a big planned rally, because it was not on the limited time schedule.
You know what?
Secondly, there was probably a total of 30 people there.
I would have said 50 at the outside.
And they had,
Not, yeah, barely even.
and I know it was because they had cancellation somewhere else, which I think was still with them, but that's beside the point.
And it could have been, but this
Point is-
wasn't a huge event. I mean, I found out Wednesday afternoon, and I sat there
I
and
don't
sent a
know
message
about
to
the
my boss that
legalities
night.
and this and that part and all of that, and I'm not involved in that.
I
My
don't really care
only
about that
thing is,
either.
I think we should have known, maybe when the chief knew, even if it didn't know if it was gonna be positive or not, that we should have a
That's what I
say.
would have liked to know.
Because it was
Possibly-
taxpayers' money spent. and-
Possibly this is gonna happen around this possible time, we don't have confirmation.
And
But
then
at
we
least
could have
at
had
least
the
we don't get
opportunity.
blindsided and hit beside the head.
But-
Ed doesn't care, nobody can contact Ed. Nobody
Right.
even talks to Ed.
But the
So he
other
doesn't
thing,
care.
I
but
got
the
it.
other
All-
thing,
all
50,000
weekend
people
long.
are on
But-
me.
but the other thing too is if we were notified last Tuesday, we could have went to the town council and said, we want to make sure that this is the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. Is this legal, not legal, whatever? We could have been prepared for when people start yelling and screaming at us about this stuff. We could have been prepared to answer those questions. But instead, we were just hit with it. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did know nothing. I did not know what was going on.
Okay, let's
How-
move on. Let's
so
just figure
all I
out what we
wanted-
gotta do.
I would like to just send this to the town council just to get an opinion, that's it. And if everybody's okay with that, that's what we're gonna do.
You know, I'm not okay with it.
Well, Rick said he was okay, Gary, are you okay with it?
I don't know about that. I'd have to read that and see what that's all about.
Well, I don't wanna be put in this situation again, so we need to make
That's
sure
my
and
point.
find out.
I want
okay,
us to
regardless.
okay these kind of things that go on that are not part of the regular routine
So
workday.
you're looking more of a policy for where prevents it.
Exactly.
Not necessarily, yeah, prevents it without us okay. I mean, maybe we would have okayed this. I don't know. I just think we should have known about it. That's my only comment. I discussed this with the chief, and I told him that was my issue, and that was it. He explained everything else to me. I mean, people even got into me about the road being closed. The chief explained it to me. They were gonna park the bus over here.
Yeah.
State police and Secret Service didn't want it over here, so they had to move it. That's completely understandable and explainable. But, you know, we didn't know these things. That's my point.
So you want policy or procedure?
Something that,
There's a procedure for all department heads. I don't care who they are. They don't get to decide that.
don't want to be in the
Procedure
dark
on if
again.
there's
I want the
something,
answers
an event
for
or something
people.
that
I
happens.
know, I'm just thinking state police were here.
I didn't see state police.
Doesn't that
They were here. They're
violate-
right in the pictures.
I didn't see them.
Doesn't that
In the
violate?
pictures, they're right in the.
State
They
police.
weren't at the police station.
Yes,
They
they were.
escorted that bus in, one in front and one in back. The chief even discussed it with me.
The state police were there, the state police lawn dog was there.
Well, I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
so are we saying now that the state police is in violation as well?
No, we're not saying anything.
They were probably paid
All
as an
I wanna
escort.
know
Oh,
is,
paid as a.
I wanna know,
That was
I
a-
wanna
That was
know,
a duty.
is
Right.
this allowed
That's
by
what we-
towns? This is what I wanna
I know,
know.
I know.
I wanna know, is this allowed? Because we should protect ourselves. If it was allowed or wasn't allowed, I wanna know whether or not this was allowed. And if it is allowed, fine. If it isn't allowed, I just wanna know one way or the other, because if for the future, we should not be allowing these things if it's not allowed. So we can have a policy all you want, but as far as this, if for me to make a decision, I need to know what is this type of thing
But I
allowed.
think if the rest of the board is comfortable with moving forth with putting procedure or policy in place about this in the future, that's enough.
You don't think we should know if it is a problem?
If it's not gonna happen again in the future, it doesn't matter.
Well, we don't know if it is. We don't even know if it's.
Bottom line
it's
is,
legal or
the
not.
town is not liable for anything that has to do, for example, with a patch. That's against,
No, this
I
is
know.
specific, this is
No, I'm not
specific to
bringing that
employee.
patch out.
This is specific to whether or not an employee, especially the head of a department, no matter who it is, has a right to do these kinds of events. So if it comes to us again, we know whether or not it's allowed, if it's legal or
And
not.
that's why
That-
we're gonna make a policy so it doesn't happen again.
But
Oh, I
that's
see
not,
what you mean.
no,
Oh,
that's
I
not
see.
gonna handle the
still gonna
legal
have to
aspect
wait
of
and
things,
check.
Gary.
I see-
I'm okay
I
with the
just
policy.
said, I see what you mean.
I
see
wanna
what
know
you
if
mean.
this was legal or not, because it could come back. If we get a whole group of people that is challenging this, we need to be prepared for that. Because it sounds to me,
challenging what?
I just wanna know if,
what
what
are they
the
gonna
definite, I
challenge?
wanna understand this, because what they're saying is that this is what happened. If this is what happened, I just wanna be prepared
You-
if people challenge it.
You have two select board members that attended. I was with them from the second they got off the bus till the second they walked down the
What does that
driveway.
have to do with
And
it?
I can assure you, there was no electioneering, and there was no fundraising, and there was no nothing. They took a tour of the police station. They said, this is wonderful. I explained to them a lot of local people in this town put forth a lot of time and effort to help build this station. They acknowledged
There
that.
was campaigning.
There was no campaign.
Just by virtue of the signs, giving out the
That
signs.
is
That can
not
happen with
permitted.
anybody that stops, honestly. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's John Kennedy.
They tried
Campaign
to,
stop, you're gonna have
they
the time.
tried to
I don't
put-
know if this is legit or not. I don't know.
they tried to
I-
put,
I'm
and this
just-
is the local candidates, this is actually
not-
Steve Mesner and whoever the other guy was. They tried to put the political sign on the police property. The chief said absolutely not, it is not allowed. And that's the signs that go on the ground. There's a
Oh,
difference
yes,
between the
I
signs that
get
go on
that.
the ground and the signs that are.
Right. Everybody was holding them, I get it.
That's correct, and you know, apparently they put some in front of the library, those were removed, but that was the local candidates, that was not the women
I'm
for
just
Taunton.
concerned about it, that's all, and I would like to have some legal opinion on it as to whether or not what happened was okay. And if it is, then I'm great. I just wanna make sure, because people are asking, we
Normally
need an answer.
electioneering will take place on the day of a vote.
Why would a lawyer tell me that this is, I asked him point blank,
Who was that?
this was Stephen
Oh
Butler.
dear God, okay.
So I'm just
I have
asking.
no more comments on that.
Well,
That's all I
fine,
have.
you can say, but we pay $4,000 a year for these
That's
people's
4,000
opinions.
too much to discuss, is my opinion.
Well, then we shouldn't pay them if you don't have faith in them, but that's who we're supposed to go to, that's what we pay $4,000 a year for. So if I can't go to them to ask them for information, I don't
And they
know.
provide many other services, it's not just for attorney.
No, but
So Ed said no. Are you taking a vote? You're taking a vote.
What is this for?
just to find out if what more definition that.
I wanna ask about our attorney, why do you have to have a board vote to speak to the attorney?
She just asked if the board wanted,
You don't have to, you can go to the
Go forward.
attorney on your own.
No.
I was
You can
told
go
that
to
I'm
the
not allowed to
municipal
do that.
association.
She can go to the town attorney as a select board member.
No.
By law, absolutely, unless you guys have a special rule here. Absolutely.
I've been yelled at for that.
I'll
What's the
take,
problem with you, and you?
Then you get voted down like I did.
Yeah, exactly.
now, I don't,
That's not how it works, Ed.
I'll take somebody with 34 years' experience telling me you absolutely have the right to go.
I think the reason why, and I'm not sure, past boards had an issue with the legal expenses that Sky had because board members were just calling. And I think that was to kind of.
yes.
I
so-
can see that, but they can't unless they made it a rule that you can't.
Well, just in the rules of procedure say that typically the chairman, can contact the attorney with the town administrator or however office manager.
I mean, you contacted
And the rules are-
the town council today without our permission.
Right, but I have the authority, it says in the rules of procedure, and if anything comes up for legal, like this, when they sent this RSA
Usually you
91,
ask us permission. I
but
was
this
kinda
91A
surprised.
request, of course I'm gonna send it. This is to the board of selectmen, it's to myself, and it was to the police chief. And so we wanna know right off, because unless any one of you can stand there and tell me which one of these requests we have to answer, I'm gonna ask the attorney, because I've been through this hundreds of times.
So then I feel I can
You should have an
contact
open line with the attorney as
Well,
it is
and I
anyway.
believe
You
me.
should.
With
So-
all the legal stuff that I've been in through over the years, I
Okay.
pull the RSAs out, I do everything to save this town money, and you can ask the attorney, I don't usually go to him unless I know that it's something that I'm
Now,
gonna have to
I know we
present.
retain the attorney,
Yes,
probably monthly, I would imagine, or.
No.
it's a
However-
yearly contract,
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
and is there some of that,
not a contract.
is it, do we have that, I mean, we can't make 1,000 phone calls, but can't we, are we getting charged extra to make a call and ask a question?
You will be, anybody who calls him will be
You don't have
charged.
that kind of a contract with him. It's a
And
pay as you
he
go.
charges by the hour, we put a dollar amount in the budget and hope it doesn't go over that, and we've never ever gone over that. But any one of you that calls, yes, he's gonna charge you your hourly. That's why the board as a whole, previous boards, said, we need to discuss it and talk about if you're gonna send something to the attorney. Just because of money, what you were saying earlier, Gary,
Yeah.
it's your taxpayers' money, is it something that you have to?
I thought we pay him anyways.
No, you only,
It's a pay as you
it's
go.
hourly.
There you go.
Yeah, cause you
Oh,
see his
That's
monthly
what I
bill.
meant, it's
You
pay
see
as
his
you
monthly-
go.
right.
Oh, I
Right.
see.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
thought
does-
it was a,
You're right.
No.
what do you call it, like a
No.
retainer or,
Right,
did I get the
no.
right word?
And that's why he doesn't answer if a resident tries to call him. He tells
Right,
him,
right.
No, I'm, you know,
Oh, I
paid by the
see,
town
all right,
only."
maybe we should look into that then, where we've got,
It's just an hour, that's why, it's an hourly thing, and the board just said we need to discuss this before someone calls. So,
I think what she's looking for is clarification. We're not looking for a criminal
Right.
trial year.
Right.
Yeah,
We're just
exactly.
Just to know that if
What we're-
somebody else does
What we're looking for
something.
is when and if another department head comes to us
Yes.
with something like this again, we know for a fact that we're okay, that everything's legal, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's it. Has nothing to do with prosecuting the chief.
Right, I don't wanna prosecute the chief.
No, no.
That's not what I'm
That's-
trying to do. What I'm trying to do is clarify that we don't do these things in the future if it is not following what we're supposed to
The
follow.
And it
exact
shouldn't take
question
you-
needs to be, is it okay for, whether it's a campaign member or something, to do an award presentation or give a speech on town property?
No, I think,
That or-
I'm looking for personally, something, like I said, that involves town employees on town property that is outside of their regular, work day or workplace or something, not just that, a campaign thing, but something that's irregular like that we okay, so that when people ask us what the heck was going on, or if anything was to happen there, things could have happened there, and people will say, as Ed said, something could have happened in the parking lot. Well, this is normal routine in this parking lot. That wasn't normal routine. We're responsible for that, that's all. I'm not saying anything was wrong. I don't know whether it was or wasn't. I'm not an attorney. But I want us to have the say in that, so that when I get bombarded like I did this weekend, and apparently you did too, I have the answers. Yes, we okayed that, we see nothing wrong with it, and we back it up. I want to be able to say that, or I don't want to say I had no clue. That's all I'm
Doesn't look
looking
good when we
for.
have no clue when something happened. It just doesn't, because I got bombarded too, so.
Yeah, I don't understand. I was running the pictures and I didn't get a single phone call. And everybody knows my number and where to contact me.
Yeah, because you were at it. We
I-
weren't there.
So you would think that someone would call me and say, Diane, what the heck is
Well,
going on?
you were responding to all the posts. You were getting involved in the
I
posts.
hope you're not implying that I'm not telling the truth, that I didn't get
No,
calls
I'm
and
sure you
texts
do.
and
I didn't
messages.
understand why
Oh, I
people
did.
didn't contact me.
Well,
You were involved in
Oh,
the
no.
posts, so people didn't have to. You were responding.
What else?
I just want to make sure that everybody's okay with me getting the
I
clarification.
want to make sure that this is not a question of the electioneering. This has to be a question of what Gary said. This is not a question of electioneering. That has to
Well,
be specific.
It was though.
are we
It
okay
was
with what went on
campaigning.
if somebody comes back at us? That's what we want to know.
Yeah.
If someone else comes back at us,
Yes.
that's,
I mean, that comes back.
well,
Wanting to
someone
do-
else claims this stuff.
That's what.
Can we?
Maybe the highway department's gonna have Biden there next week.
And that's fine,
I
but
know.
not to
As
bring
long
all
as
the
it's
work
okay.
people in and
I don't
Hang
believe
around
that
the
it's
yard
okay
for
to
3
do that.
hours.
Employees are not allowed to do that.
I don't know. They can have campaigns stop by and say everybody does it. But I don't think they can have a big event like this, is what my thing. Town time, money, property, same thing again. If the taxpayers think we can do that, then fine, it's their money.
Gary, Diane told you, she thinks there's no more than 30 people there. I said 50 at the outside. If you think this was a big event,
50 people in one area in Barnstead, that is a big event, yeah.
no, it wasn't, I'm sorry.
All right, so
Considering half of
everybody's
them were
okay with
Secret
me
Service
contacting
or
town council, just asking
candidates.
for
This will come
clarification,
back to
correct?
bite you in, unfortunately, because somebody is gonna do something that you're gonna question their spending on, or the
I just-
time, or whatever. You're gonna question on it, and you're not gonna have a clue about it, and you're not gonna like it.
I have wished for 20 odd years that people would call me with their concerns, but for whatever reason, they don't. If they didn't recognize me in those pictures, then something was wrong, because I wear my hat, I held my sign, and I do it for one specific reason. Piss off the liberals.
There you go, good for you.
Now, I may win and I may lose come November, but that isn't gonna stop me between now and November from wearing my hats and putting up my signs.
With me, this is not about that, so.
Well, I think we've already spent more time on this than we should have.
well, of course you do, because we're in favor of what went down and how it went down.
This is a process thing, it needs to be cleared up.
I wanna
It needs to
know
be
about this
straightened out,
stuff,
it
that's
needs
all
to
I'm
be
looking
done.
for, that's all, alright?
All right, so I am going to just get it clarified and I'll bring it to the next meeting.
No, we're gonna have the information as soon as the attorney gives the answer.
So,
I'm not waiting till the next meeting.
Well, and you need to make sure you know what the question is.
Yes,
First of
and
all,
that's
it
what we
has
need
to be
to do.
established whether it was even an electioneering event or not, because that's not what it started out as, that was my opinion, it's what I was told, but. So just make sure we ask the question.
That's the one I am trying to get,
Right.
convey what is the question we're going to be asking.
I would prefer that the town administrator make this phone call.
well, I would like to do it as chair because I just want to make
You
sure.
don't understand it.
Yes,
You
I
were-
do.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes, I do. You're telling me that originally that the chief,
You said-
that the Woman of Trump campaign was coming to, Barnstead to thank the police department for honoring and hiring women and thanking the police department for the service, correct?
But you think there was electioneering going on, and there was not.
I believe that what happened was electioneering.
And that's
But
why
that's
I'd
my
like Karen
opinion,
to make
which
the
is
phone call.
not important unless our town council answers it.
I'd like Karen
And
to make
so
the phone call.
I want to just make sure that that's very clear. And I would prefer to do it because I want to know like the answer to my questions and I will share it when he sends it to me.
I don't think that you know
I think
what
I'm
the question
qualified
is.
to ask the question.
No, I don't.
You could do
God,
it,
no.
just a suggestion, you could do it in an email, so
We will do it in an
everyone
email.
sees what you've asked and what the
Yes,
response is.
I will do that. I will
Because it
send
will
it.
probably lead to more questions.
I will
But
write
that's
up the
okay.
email.
Okay.
Reply to all.
Reply to all.
Do not reply to all, please. Do
I
not.
will write up the email, I'll work with Karen on it, and then we'll send it to the attorney. Does that make sense, Karen?
It makes sense to me, I just
Okay.
want everybody to be
So
comfortable
I'll
with
work with Karen.
what you're asking.
That's acceptable for me.
Okay. All right.
Oh, just the last thing, would you like me to schedule this highway applicant to come in?
Yes, immediately,
Okay.
tell me to start Monday.
So on the,
You did see what is written.
Oh, I didn't see, I didn't see that.
So we're gonna do the interview with him, or
Actually, we could.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, and then
if
then
it's something
we
that's
could bring him
doable.
forward.
Yeah.
Gary,
if-
pass that down.
so,
If you don't mind, that would
you-
expedite things for sure.
do you have the answers for you to answer, Ms. Westlake?
Yes, but I'm only answering after I finish reading what the attorney's saying, because it appears, we don't have to give all the names and addresses, that's confidential information. First of all, I have no idea who took photos,
Actually, he says the identity of the persons who attended the event is not confidential.
yeah, but I was reading the first part. So I've got to read everything that he has said, and all I read was the first paragraph.
Okay.
But yes, then, because we have just so many days to answer the right to know request.
So,
I'll
there
read
was
what he
no,
says.
there was no scheduled meeting, there was none of that, but what he is suggesting.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what it is that you're reviewing, so I think that's
Oh, it
something
didn't get
that-
passed around?
No, I haven't seen any of
Yeah, we haven't had time to pass it
Okay,
around.
I'm sorry, that's, we had a right to know request, and this is the attorney's response to it.
Nothing else?
In, how many watch?
Says the police chief watching.
I don't know. I can't tell who's watching tonight.
Yeah,
This is
I don't know.
this is the, right to know from Jane Wesley. So you emailed that to all of us, right?
It came in to Board of Selectmen, I haven't emailed it to anyone yet, because it came in today.
So while you're reading that, can I open up public input? So I would like to open up public input at 7:50. Andrew, do we have any public input? Can they hear us that we're opening up public input?
That was pretty simple.
Give them a few minutes to figure it out.
This is the person who's coming in.
Yeah, I was thinking that George and Karen would have some previous experiences.
Yeah.
Tonight. Yeah, and then if there's
All right? Thursday, Laura.
10 o'clock Thursday. All right, I'm gonna close, there's no public input, I'm gonna close public input at 7:52.
Yeah.
Do we have any non-public, Karen?
I do not.
Oh, she's her turn.
Anybody else have anything for the agenda? Nothing? All right, do we want to guide Karen out to everybody's agenda on what to do? It's pretty full.
Figure it out, nothing to do.
I've done
Right.
several of these.
But I mean, there's nothing to do. I think about the only thing you would need is, the federal grants for us to see that.
Right.
Very
Right.
glad the paving and reclaiming is
I know, I know.
kind of off our plate.
I'd like to have a non-public on the agenda next week. Or actually on the 11th, because we're not meeting.
Yes,
next week.
right.
Check.
Yeah, right.
You have to get one check.
And are you gonna let me know more what it is?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be
Leave the list out.
this issue I have, I would say it
Leave the list out.
would be about personnel.
Just personnel, okay. All right.
And I will talk to you, so you sent me the
What's
email.
going on Thursday? Are they installing software on Thursday?
Oh, no, Lori's having a problem with her phone. She keeps losing her emails from barnstead.org. And I
I
mean, she's,
reset it, so just see if it works.
oh, you
because-
did do that.
Yeah, but it doesn't, but I still don't know if that works.
Well, can you
Because
send her
every-
something?
No, what
Oh.
happens is,
Oh.
every week they disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she
gets
on
them.
7
Oh.
days.
And they're gone.
It was set on 7
It was set
days.
on like 7 days, so I changed it to 6 months.
Yes, okay, that's what I
Oh.
said right now.
So that's what I mean, just see if the emails, if you have any on there, that might disappear like normally
Maybe
tomorrow.
accidentally
See if it-
erased them while you were
Yeah, mine
karaoke.
said
Alright,
for never.
do me a favor,
Oh,
so
except
let's,
for never.
Cancel it.
but wait, this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I want you to just, for the next week, until we find out if this fixes
Yeah.
it, send them to both emails so I don't lose them.
Okay, and so do you still want to meet with them on Thursday?
Are you saying you fixed it?
Well, I mean, it was
How did
set
you
for
do that? Cause I didn't see any of that, 7 days.
It was under your like settings that you would hit for
See,
syncing.
I don't know
with
about
the-
these stupid things.
I mean,
Just do that. All right. Skip Cybertron.
it's
And
on
let's
the
get
Android, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I could take a look at it.
Karen, just for the next week until I know that the
Send both.
emails aren't
Yep.
disappearing.
Send
Can you
both.
just send both until we find out that it doesn't disappear again?
Yes.
Because they would
In
disappear.
reality, they should because they're supposed to be archived anyways.
I know, but I like to go look back at my emails. And now all my emails are gone. Like I wanted an email that happened and it's gone.
Yeah, well, pretty upset I didn't get with Karen a couple of times during the day.
And I didn't get the highway one. Now it hasn't even
Are
been
you
7
saying
days.
you want emails from me?
But wait a minute, it hasn't been.
I go a couple of days without getting one from you, Karen, and something
That's
goes
when you
right
go
to
up to
that.
Pittsburgh, that's why.
Karen, has it been 7 days since you sent me the highway email? Because I never got that one.
Yeah, and I just resent it to you I sent it Wednesday morning, right after our meeting.
So it hasn't even been 7 days. And it still wasn't there.
And I forwarded it again to you so you could see the day and the time I sent it to you.
So that wasn't 7 days. Just saying.
What's your last? What's your
That's
last?
right, the 7 days would be tomorrow,
So the only emails I have,
that's weird.
Okay, can we adjourn or?
yeah, July 27th.
All those in favor?
Her
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
I didn't know you.
Thank you, everybody for watching.
Well, now all of a sudden, since you did that, I have
Get out of here.
261 emails in my inbox.
Okay, so now, so you got them all back? You got them all back?